Okay then. There we go. Shabbat Shalom, most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone accompanying us. On this rather precious day of Shabbat, and before continuing, I want to know, because I can't see the chat live here. Let's refresh chat. Let's see. I can't see the chat live. Can you see the chat? Because I can't see it. You do see the chat live? Now we can. Well, I'm not sure now. Error, it says. Okay, let me close this just in case. I'm going to open it back up over on this side. It gives me an error here. It says it gives me an error right here. Not sure. You don't see me smoothly, right? Let's do something. Let's restart everything. I'm gonna delete this little video, and then we'll start up. Well, let's see. No, hold on. No, it works. It does work, apparently. You don't see me live yet? Yes, I do see you, but the way that, since it was... Let's see. Move. No, I mean, apparently it's fine. I think it's fine. It's only 30 seconds behind. I think it's fine. It seems like an eternity, you know, like I speak and then until I come up, it's just like never. Yeah, I know. See, you barely now noticed. See, 30 seconds. 30 seconds is fine. Okay, right. Right. We can begin. I find that to be okay. You can hear me well and everything. Okay, today, Shabbat, Aviv the 4th, we have entered into the month of Aviv, the month that, according to the scriptures, the most important one of them all. It is the head of the months. Yahweh told Moses and everyone in Israel, the month of Aviv shall be the most important one of all the months, the first one of them all, in importance and first in number of the year 5,993, the new year. We have changed to a different number because we have advanced to the year 5,993. That gives us, for our count, it's now less than 8 years, 7 and some, because it'd be all of 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and 6,000, but we're already advancing into some days in the month 5,993, so then it would be 7 years and a little bit more, per se. It's no longer 8 years. It's just so that it gives us the max count of the year in the Gregorian calendar, April 13th of the year 2024, and we shall study yet another chapter of Wisdom and Discipline, part 12, or Chokhmah and Musar, part 12. Today is a very beautiful day. It is cloudy. They've announced rain, and we do need it to rain. So then we'll see whether it rains or not. But today is a very, very beautiful day with a very pleasant temperature. Very well. Let us begin this study with a word prayer. Beloved Yahweh that art in heaven, we give you thanks for this so precious day of Shabbat. I ask you that on this new year, 5,993, may it be a year of blessing, because this month of Aviv is the most important one, and may it be actually marvelous for your children. We are waiting for you to make your people be known unto the world, your anointed people, your special people, and rather this would be an ideal date, but it's all in your hands. But we are waiting for you because actually the prophecies have been fulfilled, and we are at the end. We thank you for all this. I ask you that in this school we may comprehend more the work and the character and temperament of the Mashiach. All this we thank you for in your precious name, YHWH. Alleluia. Yahweh is blessed with the memory of life the following members of the eternal truth: Jacqueline Ramos de Lombardi, Peru; Ana or Hannah, I don't know how they pronounce it, Ramirez Arcia, Costa Rica; Sineca Estanista. Many thanks, Estanista, for your so precious and special gift you gave us, and we take it as a New Year gift. So then, many thanks, Sineca. Leonel Abraham Gutierrez, Guatemala; Claudia Elizabeth Casillas Aceves, Mexico; Gamaliel Perez, Guatemala; Laura Gisela Quintero Montiel, Colombia; and Edwin Aguilera, El Salvador. To each and every one of you, a great big hug. May Yahweh continue to bless you, and may it be your very last birthday under the government of Babylon. Today is the 4th of Aviv, and tomorrow, in other words, when the sun goes down today, we shall be celebrating a very special feast, because 10 years ago, back in the year 2014, all the couples which were a part of the eternal truth of this special group of friends, we all got married once again, or we renewed our vows before Yahweh in the only name of Yahweh. We had all been married with the name, the Trinitarian name, and all the rest that we had understood back then that was not the true God. But now, under the knowledge of the true Elohim, 10 years ago, wow, how time goes fast, right? 10 years or more that we've been believing in Yahweh, one sole being. It's not that we started to believe it a little bit ago. No, it's been more than 10 years that we believe that Yahweh is one sole being, and we have renewed, and we got married in the name of Yahweh. And so then I'd like to congratulate every one of the couples that have received this blessing, that today we are on our 10th year due to the so precious day anniversary. Congratulations to each and every one of those of us who have renewed our matrimonial vows in the name of Yahweh. So then you can celebrate it in whatever way you wish. You can enjoy it and feel rather very special due to have been doing this in conjunction that time. And it was more than 100 couples. I can't believe how the years go by. And even if they didn't get married as a couple, they can celebrate it here. As long as they're part of the eternal truth. Yes, that's right, whether they got married there or not. I remember that we took pictures of the single women there, and we looked so young back then. I mean, although I look even cuter now, but either way, we're beautiful. We're beautiful. 10 years of that time, of that event, so then everyone is invited to celebrate it, whether they got married there, as Leslie said, or not, because it's a celebration as a group of the eternal truth. This week, we saw the most impressive eclipse, which for all the Christians, it was the sign of the end of the world, of the Messiah coming, the anti-Mashiach, and all that they were going to be raptured, and it's taken place already. And they all believe, some believe, not everyone, some believe that this was the beginning of the end, and blah, blah, blah. All thing we saw was an event that's rather marvelous. We don't see it completely because we didn't see it up on our side of town, but it was spectacular, and it was rather worthy of being mentioned because of the effect that it has when the sun is hidden. We don't know if it's the moon or we don't know what goes in front of it. We still don't know. It could be the moon. It could be some other object that our eyesight, it's invisible. We don't know it, but what we do know is that the earth is flat. And what we do know is that the sun and moon is the same size. And what we do know is that there are things that we don't understand. Like, for example, there could be types of invisible other stars that we don't know and that cause the eclipse. More than that, we don't believe absolutely nothing from the NASA. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The word NASA or Nasa in Hebrew means deceit, but a great deceit. Something that's way, way too great and deceitful. That is what the word Nasa means. And precisely, I was listening to some Christians that they're not flat earthers, they're just heliocentrists, like all the rest of the world, that said, oh, how awful, how strange thing is that the word NASA means deceit. They have to learn way, way more. And I say that no. Just like that, directly not. We don't need signs. Our signs or symbols are rather something which we've seen it ourselves, not the world. The world, the entire world that sees this signs, yes, it could be a sign for them that what they believe or what they fear could happen, but it's not a sign for us. We have another type of interpretation of the scriptures, and we don't need signs. We know that we are in the last time. There's no more time past this. Whether it's those 7 years and something that it's needed, rather 7 years is not time at all. And to top it off into this, we add many other details that I always want you to have present. Many details which Yahweh said and promised that the times would be shortened. So then if the times of tribulation, these very last ones that have already begun, if they were shortened, then we should not get to fulfill the end of the 6,000 years, or else it makes no sense in the words of Yahweh. And the other things are that Israel, back in the year 2018, 17, 18, something like that. You can take 17 or 18. I take 18. 2018, it was their 70th birthday, and if it was their 70th birthday, it means that it's the end of time fulfilled. Everything that we live after the 70 years in Psalms 110 or Psalms 100 or 90, in one of those Psalms, let's see, what Psalms is it? It's Psalms 90:10. Could it be by memory? 90:10. Psalms 90:10 says exactly 90:10. Yes. The image freezes up. Well, no, I don't want to cut this off. See, that's what happens. If you can hear me well, then that's. Psalms 90:10 says, "In the days of our years are 70 years and 10." This is a biblical definition of how long we live. Now, that about the man used to live less. That's all lies. All lies. I don't believe the lies. No, that grandparents at 40 years old. I am sick and tired of the lies. See, I'm tired of the lies. In the time of Yeshua, they lived 70 and some even 120. And today, they live, give or take, average 70 years, and some get up to 120. But it's a lie that before they lived less. I am sick and tired. You know why that whole lies little by little? I'll tell you why. So as to say that now, thanks to science and pharmakeia, we can stretch the life of men, and that's a lie. That's an absolute lie. With how old was your father? And it was thanks to pharmakeia that he lived so many years. The pharmakeia ended up touching him in the end, right? 87, he said. 87 years old, waiting, always working from sundown to sundown, or not, until the day that he died. So then, don't tell me that the people used to not work well. It's like, no, it was brutal back then. And so my dad used to work brutally. So then it's a lie. I mean, I don't believe the people anymore. I want you to understand that. They installed in my mind that now, with the level of life and the new remedies and the medical science, they have allowed us to stretch our life. That's a lie. An absolute lie. Actually, what they do is they shorten it. They don't lengthen it. It's a lie. It's a lie. The Bible says that 3,000 years written ago that the years of our age are 70 years. Look, I'm going to search real quick. Just search real quick and I'll risk it. I know what it should say. I'm going to say average of life expectancy of the people. Yeah, I love the people. Let's see what it says. But a worldwide average. It says, well, the lies already start. The lies, they start with the lies. It says in Mexico, the hope for life in Mexico has augmented. That's a lie, lies. The average of life of the people it is 66.7 years in 2005. In Europe and North America, for example, it is estimated for it to be 73 years, and in Latin America it's 70 years. So then, is the Bible wrong? No, it's not wrong. The Bible is. The average is when we add all the deaths, and we're not talking about by accident, they're no good. We're talking about the life given to us naturally until we grow old and we die. 70 years, that was before and it is today. Just like that it was before and it is today. 70 years. And if in the strongest, it is 80. Look, back in the time of Solomon, they lived 80. Hasn't the science says, no, they lived less before. See, obviously. Even so, labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off. It is actual tribulation. Going past the 70, it is tribulation. Because everything hurts 10 times more until you die, because things that you used to do before, you can't do them anymore. You don't see well, you don't hear well, you don't have strength. You can't do a whole bunch of things that you used to do before. And all that, it starts a loss of value because you look at yourself in the mirror, of course. Every time you look at yourself in the mirror, every time you don't have strength or something hurts, and it's a vicious cycle until you die. There's no turn of the page. The age, the direct age, is directly related with the loss of value, and that is obvious. It's absolutely obvious. That's why it brings death. So then, notice that how long did Moses live? Quickly, tell me. How long did Moses live? 120. 120. How long did Abraham live? I'm going to give you the number because I'm not sure. 175. 175 it says. Can you confirm me and give me in the comments 175 and he died? Moses 120 and God killed him. Because he told him go up into the mount, and it says nothing used to fail, nor the eyes, nor strength. And he had strong enough to go up the mountain, and it said, you shall die today. How did he know that he was going to die? 160. Oh, I missed by 10. I missed by 10. The 10 of our anniversary. 165. Oh, just imagine if science is correct or not. With that, no, their strength is labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. How long? Oh, I was right. Oh, come on. Bad information. What do you call that? It's fake news they gave me. Fake news. It's 175 then. 175. Very well. 175. Very well. Okay. And so then, going back to what I was talking about, Israel had their 70th birthday as a living being because it's the eighth king. The eighth king got to its 70th birthday back in the year 2018. As it turns out, precisely when it was on its 70th birthday, Yahweh was taking us to a different time, different path, and teaching us what the new Germanic medicine is, which was an oasis, it was a salvation, it was a door that no one can close, and it was the key so as to not be afraid of what would happen 1260 days, or at least 3.5 years later. He gave us precisely what was necessary to go past that test that everyone was submitted to, and everything was given in a perfect established manner. Israel this year will turn 76, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, 20, 21, 22, 23, 76 years. And the tribulation, yeah, they have an enormous tribulation, and on top of them, Israel is not relaxed, nothing but tribulation. And now with the threat of Iran that will attack them and promise that he's going to delete them from the map. And some even say that he's waiting for them to celebrate Pesach so as to begin the destruction of Israel. And during Pesach, there are some Jews that I heard this week that said Israel has less than 10 years of life. In 10 years of life, Israel will disappear. The Jews themselves saying it, because actually we are doing a disaster in this place because everyone hates them. The U.S., they're kind of letting go of their hand. We don't know. I don't believe it's like that. At least publicly, it tells them, hey, if you continue to attack, I won't help you anymore, and blah, 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 blah. And so then there it is, between tribulation, the way we say it, but there could be even a greater tribulation that could scale. But this time, they really stuck the finger in the eye, so as to not say somewhere else. The giant of Iran promised to erase them from the map. Promised. Let's see if they come through. Maybe this year we'll see things that are fantastic, completely fantastic. So then, do I need to see an eclipse to see whether the coming of the Messiah is close? No, I don't need to see any. The thing is that we, as the eternal truth, we don't need to see any sign that the Messiah is close. It's either because we are completely ludicrous, but for us, the Messiah already came. The Messiah is studying. The Messiah is growing. It's like when Yeshua was in the street when he was young. If somebody would ask, where's the Messiah? The people could not recognize him. So then, exactly, that is what we believe in. We don't need to see any signs for the coming of the Messiah, because the Messiah already came. And the Messiah is studying, the Messiah is being prepared, the Messiah is growing, the Messiah is understanding many things, and is also waiting for the time for them to act. So then, is it a sign for us? No, it's no sign for us. It might be a sign for them, but not for us. Very well. And if to that we add that the 80 years of Israel would be fulfilled in the year 2024, because in the year 2024 they turned 76, then in the year 2028, 4 years from now, they'll turn 80. And for me, so as to have the prophecy of Psalms 90:10 be true and for everything to fit in, it has to, as a maximum, and to me, it's already an exaggeration. I have to tell the truth. Maximum in 2028, not even getting close to 2032. Maximum in 2028. So maximum from here, 4 years. As a maximum, in my mind, mind you, in my mind. Just like, that's how I see things. At least that is the way I see it, like the way Guillermo Nimo said it, who was an arbitrator in the Argentinian league, he would smoke a cigar like this or a pipe. But he would say so many things about soccer, the way he saw things. He said that's at least that's the way I see it. They called him the Black Pearl in football, and they said he invented everything. He was a character. He would have his cigar like this. It's like, at least that's the way I see it. I like the character, the persona that he radiated from himself. So then, at least that's the way I see it, that we cannot get to 2028. And if to that we add that the 1260 days were fulfilled ever since we learned Germanic medicine, and we started the purification of the temple of the body of the Messiah, of the temple of Elohim, his bride. At 1260, Yahweh took us and we issued judgment against Babylon. Somebody had to do it. Daniel chapter 7, impressive. In Daniel chapter 7, Daniel is seeing two visions at the same time. Those are those rare occasions that the prophet does not just see a vision, but actually sees two simultaneous ones. It's like seeing in two big TVs or a picture-in-picture. And he says, and I would see, and I saw the little horn speaking great things, and I also looked, and they put some seats, and the Ancient of Days went and sat down at a throne with wheels, and I was still watching the barbarities he spoke, and I also saw that the scene would change, like watching something that would pass in a place, and watching something that would happen in a different place, just like that. Double vision, and he clearly says it when he says, and while I was speaking, while the little horn was speaking, I saw that they placed seats and the jury was seated. So then that had to be fulfilled. That judgment did, as the little horn was still speaking, and the little horn speaking was the massive, I'm talking massive deceit of the cup of wine 2019. That had to happen. That is not a sign. That is a brutal fulfillment of the prophecy. Not a sign. That's not a sign. It's a fulfillment of the prophecy. So then, while the others, the people that don't understand, they see signs and they think, oh, Jesus will come. Those who understand, those that are understood, understand. And those that don't understand, do not comprehend. It is as so. As Daniel chapter 12 says, those that are understood shall understand, and those that don't understand shall not comprehend. And that's it. Very clear. So then, we do not need signs because we've got a chronological map that's very perfect, that we're not just waiting for a date. No. Things have been fulfilled. They are being fulfilled, and we fulfill things. That's what I'm telling you. We're either completely lunatic, and there's nobody with sanity here, and everyone of us is worse than Ellen G. White, which is not the case, or absolutely we have been fulfilling the prophecies. And the 1260 goes exactly from a Shabbat in which it was October 20th of the year 2018 when we learned the divine medicine, Shabbat, and not just a simple Shabbat. It was a Yom Kippur. It's not a simple Shabbat, just any. It was the sixth feast of Yahweh, a Yom Kippur. What is a Yom Kippur? It is the cleansing of the temple. And how did that start to be fulfilled with the cleansing of the temple? Those are things which our human mind forgets. The week passes, and apparently we live like when we were before Adventists. No, those things, we lived, and they were impressive. But they were, I want to use the word miracle, but I want to say fulfillment. And we didn't know. That very same Yom Kippur is when the Germanic medicine began, and that is where we started to purify, and not just purify the temple, but to prepare the temple so as to not have an abomination that makes desolate come in. That abomination would enter into the rest of the people that would not understand this. In 1260 days exactly, April 2nd of the year 2022, which it was not just any day, but it was an Adar 30th, the last day of the year, Adar 30th, but there was going to be an Adar 2nd, if I remember correctly. Well, I don't. I think it was the last day of the year we cast at judgment. It was a Shabbat also. It was a Shabbat, so from one Shabbat to another, from Yom Kippur to the last day of the year, 1260 days, from one Shabbat to the next, that is impossible to program by us. Impossible. That is a divine hand guiding what happens here on earth. And the judgment took place while the little horn was speaking and casting out voices and lying and speaking great things and thought, because that's what it has in its mind still, it thought of changing the times. He said it's a new reality, a new, what was it? The new norm, the change. They were talking about a big reset, the great big reset, thought to change the times and the laws. What laws? Well, the laws of freedom, the laws that we know now, and it's got a whole programmation to do a big reset. The big reset that they want to do in 2030. So then the little horn does not achieve to do that, it thinks. And the little horn is the representation of the eighth, and it is the representation of the power which rules the world. That is the representation, the power which rules the world. So then, the judgment had to be done during the time in which that little horn spoke. Now everything has been deflated. Now they continue with trying to place whatchamacallit, the vacuum cleaners, the shots, I don't know if I can say that, the whatchamacallit, the arrows, we can call it, but there's no brutal pressure. The brutal pressure was before. Now it's been loosening up. It's like everything has been deflating on its own. It was the climax. Look, that was the climax. I say, do not wait for a climax now. It has passed over. That's what I see with my eyes. What I can see in the prophecy. I'm not waiting for now to once again the government, to the little horn to come and try to impose. They can't. They already had its time. They shut down the churches, the soccer stadiums, shut down sports, commerce, and killed millions of people. Killed them. And marked at least 2/3 of humanity. I don't even know if more, but at least 2/3 of humanity was marked with something. Now, that they have something or not, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter what it contains. That it doesn't matter what it contains. That which they marked them with, the fact that it has something or not, the fact is kind of like the act of eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. When they ate it, their eyes were open. This is different. The fact of accepting the solution on behalf of the government to a problem that never existed, made up by them, it was all a lie. That is an effect of marking. So then they marked the animals, the cattle, they marked them just as Jeremiah chapter 25 says, which the cup, everyone had to drink it, whether they want to or not, they had to drink. And then there's a comparison with animals. The shepherds, the cattle, all dead, all on the floor. There's a comparison. So then all of the cattle of the world was forced to make a choice to allow themselves to be marked or not. We, didn't even have to make a decision. For us, it was laughable. That situation was directly just like that, laughable. We didn't doubt. It said, "Oh, but I'm afraid. Do I have to use that?" Because many people decided that no, but they didn't even know why not. With a different persuasion, maybe they would have. We, with no persuasion, would we have done that? Because we knew that that government, that, which is the little horn, was not going to mark us. And they had 1,260 days to do it, and they didn't do it. And at the end of that, we cast judgment that one that Daniel was watching. That is not a sign. That is a true fulfillment of prophecy. And after that, if to that we add that ever since the cup of wine of 2019 was designed, another Yom Kippur, but we're talking up ahead, a year after us starting to study and to practice the purification of the temple, a year afterwards, that is when Yahweh, I wouldn't say that he allows, but he designs the cup of wine 2019. He designs it and gives it to the nations. He gave us 1 year of advantage to us that we study in a way, very specific way, what the Germanic medicine is. And he gave us 1 year. The next year, Yahweh gives the cup of wine 19 to the world. And from Yom Kippur of the year 2019, in silence, they started again with a marking, whether it's for the flu or whatever they call it, which does not exist, like viruses as such. And what started was the effect, which would end in the whole world to stay home. It would end with the maximum power of the government over the people. And if we count from October 9th, Yom Kippur of the year 2019, 1 year afterward, after we studied or started to study Germanic medicine a year afterward, and to that with that, and that is the abomination that makes desolate, the salvation verse comes first. It says, "I will test the world, but you I will save entirely from the test that comes over the entire world." He gave us the solution before the world was tested. He didn't give us the solution while he was testing the world, but he gave us the solution before. That when the test would come, we would clearly see it as it is, as a test, a dumb test, not for us. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, right? It is very clear. I'm trying to speak the best as possible. He gave us the solution, prepared us. We saw a stupidity, complete stupidity, but not for the people. On October 9th, Yom Kippur of 2019, if to that we add the 1,290 days that belong to the abomination that makes desolate, which is the cup of wine, the 1,290 days end, just in case you forgot, on Adar 30th, the second of the year 2023. The year 2023, Adar 30th, it was the last day of the year. And as it turns out, that year had a second Adar. That's why it went from 1260 to 1290. I never imagined, from everything that I was taught by Adventists about prophecy and all that the 1260 to the 1290, the difference was those 30 days was because it was going to be a year, a leap year. I mean, I know some of you, they started to see this as far away, and they no longer see the brutal shining that it has, that ever since the cup of wine 2019, the cup 19, that's what it's called. He gave him that name. He says the cup of wine, cup vid 19. I mean, that is even more than to see some eclipse. It's a lot more, something marvelous, but we forget. We start to forget because it passed already. It's kind of like we forget that when we were dating, there was magic, and then they're husband and wife, and they forget, they fight, they forgot, they have to again go back and see how everything started. And this is absolutely magical, marvelous, divine. It's incredible. From the cup of wine, from the cup of wine, 19 to 1290 days, and included that it was going to be a leap year in the very last day, the 1290 ended, which was April 21st of 2023, which was a Friday at sunset. And we declared that year as the year of the Jubilee, the entire 2024, which just ended. I personally was waiting that in the year of the Jubilee, it was when we would be given back our goods, our assets. But there is a detail that did not take into account. There's a detail that didn't take into account. That the one that has the assets in their hold does not want to give them back. Of course, if in a people where everyone's conscious, all this day, it's kind of like you let a friend borrow a car. And he says, on Friday, you bring it back to me. But if your friend is like those that rule the world, he's not going to want to bring you the car back. He says, but it's Friday, you have to bring it back. I thought it was calculated for him to bring it back. He didn't bring it back, and so you were there Saturday, didn't bring it back. You waited Sunday, didn't bring it back. You have to go out and look for it. There's no other choice. You have to do action against him, legal, physical, or whatever. You're going to take action. He's not going to want to give it back to you. It's like some guy living in the house, and says, you have to give it on this date, and the guy stays. You have to take legal action for him to take it. So then something that I did not calculate, because I still sustain absolutely that the year that passed was Jubilee, and that gives it even more strength to what I'm going to say now. Babylon would not give back the assets. They'd have to be crazy. They'd have to be crazy. I mean, we have the entire world. When do you want to rule it? But of course, that's not going to happen. So then, the most logical thing is that the enforcement or the power, which is our visual world, the police, the judges, it is the judicial power. If I have somebody that is calling squatter rights on a property of mine, and it's very risky to try to kick someone out. I mean, I could break the door down and take the guy out of there. So I can go and present my case to justice, and the justice, which has more power than me, in that the guy can come with the police and takes him out. Exactly. And I kick him out. And if I kick him out, it'll be by force, because that is why the police comes. Then he's going to have to break the door down, use the weapons, and bring him out, drag him out. That is what I did not calculate that would happen in Babylon, by not wanting to give over the properties which are not theirs anymore, they've had them already, it's no longer theirs, then we have to take it by force, and that would not take place during the Jubilee. It'll take place when the time runs out. The time has run out already. When? It's been 4 days ago. It's been 4 days ago that it has ended. Now we are in the time of giving back. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that the Jubilee was valid. What did not take place during the Jubilee was that they, out of their own accord, would give it back. So then here comes the process. When will that take place? Well, what has to happen is, for the one that has the power, he has to come. Who is it? Elohim. He has to come and invest the police or the army, and so then that army will take out Babylon from their seat. That is what will happen. Could that happen this year? Absolutely, it could happen this year. But I mean, I'm talking absolutely. It could happen this year. Why? Because the 1260 have passed already. The little horn has spoken. Their power has already been smoked out. The 1290 have passed. they ended, Jubilee started. The 1335, which is a precious text, rather, Daniel 12:11, Torres Amat says, and from the time in which the perpetual sacrifice be taken away, in other words, it just says the perpetual, and it be enthroned in the temple, the abomination that maketh desolate, the time that they had to enthrone this abomination that maketh desolate, which are, pardon me, which are the cup of wine to 2019, it'll be 1290 days. That has already passed. And now we go to the other text. See in the, I forgot what version it was, the TA, Torres Amat, pardon me, Torres Amat. Daniel 12:12, Torres Amat. Blessed is he that awaiteth. Did we wait? Yes. When did we have to wait? 1260 years, like the Adventists say? How are you going to wait for 1260 days if our lives is 70 years? We can't wait. And to wait what? To be born? No, that is what Yahweh designs. We cannot have the act of waiting. If he says, blessed is he that waited, it's not that he waited to be born. It's not in our will to be born. It is to wait during your time of life that you have to wait with patience. And blessed, happy. Blessed is he that awaiteth and arriveth. And why arriveth? Well, because some could be lost in the path, in the temptation of the arrows. You can fall into things. Blessed is he that awaiteth and arriveth at 1213 and 35 days. And that's where it says that. How was that going to be fulfilled, or how was that fulfilled? Well, that was fulfilled in a way that was absolutely marvelous and subtle, which was precisely that when you would combine this text with the text of the promise of the white stone, blessed is he that awaiteth, and that, I forgot the text exactly of the white stone. Let's see if I have it somewhere. I forgot. I wanted to see if I had it written here, or else I'll look it up in 1 second. Oh yeah, it is in Revelation 2:17. Revelation 2:17, the New Living Translation, and that time has already passed. He that hath an ear to hear, in other words, that understands this, and it's not just to see, to see an eclipse in heaven, mind you. He that hath an ear to hear must listen to the Spirit. And who is the Spirit? You have not understood who the Spirit is, then there's no need for me to explain. You're not going to understand this application. Because he that understandeth who the Spirit is, there's no other way of understanding this. He that hath an ear to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he's saying to the churches. To everyone who is victorious. Victorious of what? Of the 1335 days. He that awaiteth and arriveth. He that awaiteth and arriveth and is victorious is the same term. Victorious of what? Of the 1260, of the 1290. And he that arriveth and get to 1335. He that arriveth at there and is victorious shall be given the manna that has been hidden away in heaven. Which is, what does the Spirit promise? What does he promise? That he's going to give him a spiritual food. I'll make it more clear. He will give him an interpretation that no one has. It is hidden in the scriptures. It is hidden. Because the whole world believes that a Christ is coming. Everyone believes that the Christ of 2,000 years ago is coming. So then, there is a hidden manna. It's a spiritual food. It's an interpretation, and it's hidden where? In Scripture, because the Scripture is hidden. It's only for kings, but the Spirit is the only one that can give that food to you to eat. You cannot understand it by reading the Bible, because it's hidden, just as hidden for you as for everyone. It's always been hidden. Only the Spirit can give you that manna. That is why it begins. All that hath ears to hear must listen to the Spirit. and understand what he saith unto the churches. Unto all that are victorious shall I give of the manna that has been hidden in heaven. Heaven, what is heaven? It is power. It is a manna on top of power. Those that eat of that manna will have power. But not just that. And I shall give them, the one that's speaking is the Spirit, mind you, and I shall give them each one a white stone. And a white stone, it is a white metal. It is silver. Metal is. And in that stone shall be engraved, in that part of white silver shall be engraved or written perfectly well, like you understand. What do they call it when they engrave in a metal? It is engraved, but in Spanish, yeah, that's the way you say it. It's engraved. It's engraved. It says, and in the stone shall be engraved a new name. Yeah, it could be polished, but engraved is better. It says that a new name will be engraved. A new name? What new name did that have? I already told you. The new name that the world does not know, but only knows those that know the Spirit. It is LVE. It is the eternal truth. This is engraved. This is engraved. It is more than engraved. This one seems that it is polished, that is engraved. And I'm talking engraved in an impressive manner. It is engraved. And within also it has the only Elohim's name that there is, Yahweh Ekhad. It says, and in the stone shall be engraved a new name that no one comprehends, aside from him that receiveth it. In this stone there's a name that is engraved that no one comprehends, and only is that person that receives it. And I can assure you that this ring, which is a white metal stone, you give it to every member on this earth, the billions and billions that are in. Yes, and what does this mean? LVE, they're not going to know what it means. Some will say love, it is, you need an O of love. They're not going to know what it is, because it doesn't even say the eternal truth. It says name, a name. That only, it is only known by those that know the eternal truth, that possesses, and they possess it for something, because they want it. This prophecy was fulfilled. 1260, because these had to come together. It's not that we're waiting for something that would come later. This has already been fulfilled, and I am here making time. I'm just making time, because it's already, everything has already been fulfilled. Elohim is not waiting for you to be prepared a little more. That time has already ended. I want you to know that the time has ended, and the time was 1260, 1290, and 1335. It's over. There's no more time. There's no more time to go turn the clock back and to once again live the 1260. No. You also cannot turn the clock back and say, oh, I want to be a judge and I want to be... Yeah, you could be a judge, but you will never be a participant of the judgment that we did in that very same moment. No longer. You can't. And that happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. It's already passed. That's it. It's over. It's been fulfilled. In the 1335, which was the white stone, which has a name engraved, which it's not just that the Spirit gives it to you, but rather the Spirit made you understand a hidden manna that no one has. But you have already understood that, and you've already obtained the ring. And if somebody's listening now and they would wish to have the ring, it's no longer time. Like that, it's no longer time. Nothing. It's over. It had to end, and that was to be given exclusively during the Jubilee. And that surprises myself, because during the Jubilee, what the Spirit had to do was to give you the ring. A ring that now you don't see what it has, you cannot see what it means, actually, but it had to be given during the Jubilee. It's kind of like, just so you understand it in different words, like if during the Jubilee they would give you the papers of a property, of a home, or an enormous property, but you cannot go and enter yet because it is occupied. But you've been given the papers. This is worthless. Oh, it is worth something, but I can't go grab. No, you can't go, not yet. But the paper was given to you this year. The paper is yours. Yahweh gave us the entire earth. When will we take possession of the earth? Very soon. Just like that, very soon. Abraham was promised the earth. It had already been given to them. When he promised the land to Israel, it was already promised. He had to go and take it, but the land was already given. So then in the year of the Jubilee, Yahweh gave us the earth. The Jubilee was fulfilled, and he gave us all the promises. The Jubilee ended, and that is a great blessing. Why? Because now I understand. I understood it some time ago. Now I understand that nothing could be fulfilled during the Jubilee, because the Jubilee had to get to its end. Babylon had to say, "This is mine, and I will take it." Then was barely then could Yahweh give us the right of taking it by force. Do you understand what I'm saying? When Babylon had to give it up, they did not give it up. They had a date barely after that the date passed. Then do we have the right to take the property? That is what I'm saying. This year is a year that is very special. Could this year be the year in which Babylon starts to lose the properties? Yes, perfectly well. Perfectly well. Could it be the following year? Well, if Elohim wants that, then that's fine. If he says, well, they're going to have to wait. But what is on our behalf, it's all ended and fulfilled. And everything very well fulfilled, exactly fulfilled. That is why I am very hopeful this year. I mean, the year started and it was renewed. Absolutely all my hopes. Maybe you're going to say, "Oh, the year of the Jubilee." Now, what do we do? Now, who could defend us? That's why you've got the Spirit. The Spirit has renewed all the energy. Why? Because He knows that this is coming, and it could come now. It could come now, and it could be the beginning of everything, of when Iran is now threatening Israel. It could be the beginning perfectly well, the beginning of the events. We're not waiting for heaven to be open and for the Messiah to appear. No, the Messiah is here on earth. The Messiah is prepared. The Messiah received the title of property, and all that Messiah has left is for him to come and for Yahweh to give him the necessary power to retake and take back, or to take and forever the land, the earth. Very well. I wanted to tell you that as a message of a new year, because this new year message is the message. It is a message that we are in a year that is very critical for Babylon, and we are in a year that is very, very glorious in potential, possibly for us. Just like that, very glorious for us. Shemah Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh is one alone. if you see this terrible ring, that if I can take it out, I gave Leslie and Angelina and Brian and one for me. This ring, which is rather fantastic. It's enormous. It has the Argentinian sun. The Argentinian sun. What sun was it? The Inca sun. The Inca sun. It's spectacular. The Argentinian sun. It's got a blue. Yes, just like the Argentinian flag. It's got a blue, like the sky that you could see. Can you take a picture so they can see it? It has blue, and it's got all kinds of diamonds, fantasy diamonds, of course. Zirconia, but they sparkle all the way. And on one side, it says World Cup champion. In other words, world champion. World champion who? Argentina. It is the Argentinian flag. 2022. That is a ring of champions of the world of Qatar 2022. And on the other side of the ring, it says 2022 champion Argentina. And below that, the ring, it has the 3 stars, the 3 World Cups that have been obtained. It is rather fantastic, this ring. It is so beautiful because the sun is, I know you can't see it, but that sun has, it's golden, and you see it like I don't know if you can see it here. It's like a blue sky. It is so beautiful. You can't see it, right? At all. It's a blue sky. Well, I'm trying to see if you can see it this way. If I can focus it. Well, you can take a picture later. There's only one size, so then it's enormous for the girls. No, on this one, right? Oh, perfect. But it weighs. I mean, it weighs. I gave that to them as champions of the world on this new year, 5,993, or this new year that we begin, because rather, maybe, absolutely everything starts to be fulfilled as champions of the world with Messi. Messiah. So then, I just wanted to tell you about that, but the base of it all is, Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh is one alone. It's not 2, it's not 3, there's not a Messiah with him, there's not a son, quote unquote, a Messiah, there isn't. It is him alone, and he's not the Messiah. Just like that, Yahweh is not the Messiah. And Yahweh does not have a co-equal son, co-eternal, that made himself be a son and made himself be called the Messiah. No, there isn't. No, Jesus Christ or Yeshua in heaven, there isn't. You've got Yahweh. Absolutely only Yahweh. And even my language has been corrected. I know it's difficult. This is difficult. My language has been corrected so as to not pray in the name of Jesus or of Yeshua, because we pray to Yahweh. I want you to all have that clear. We pray unto Yahweh, which is the Father, the only one there is. There's no other. So then, the whole example of what Yeshua did here on earth, it is the example of all the people, which all the things they'll have to do in the name of the Messiah, because the Messiah is the owner of it all. I'm not going to go into depth with this, but just so you understand. So then, if for some reason, well, you maybe still when you pray unto Yahweh, you pray, my beloved Yeshua. Okay, that's wrong. Just like that, it's wrong. I don't want to say the word wrong. I am a bit drastic. It's not completely correct once you understand the name of Yahweh. I know that Yahweh is Yeshua because Yeshua means salvation, and he used that name, it's all fine. But once we understand even more, and when the hidden manna is given to you, well, you have to start to reform your actions. So then we pray unto Yahweh. We are married just like that, 10 years in the name of Yahweh. We were not married in the name of Yeshua, mind you. We were married in the name of Yahweh. And just in case you ask me if you're baptized, you get baptized in the name of Yeshua. I'll tell it to you like that. Do not be baptized in the name of Yahweh. Because baptism in the name of Yeshua is a symbol which for the future. We fulfill that symbol. So we get baptized in the name of Yeshua, the one that came, because Yeshua is the Messiah. We are baptized in the name of the Messiah like a symbol. But the entire people will have to literally be baptized in the name of the Messiah, because the people do not believe in that Messiah. So then they're going to have to be baptized, be subjugated, to put the head down, learn everything, and learn everything back from the Messiah. Farewell. So then we pray unto Yahweh, we do. And let us stop using the name of Yeshua to pray. Did somebody have a problem with this? Just so that I know, so that I can know what level you absorb the teachings that I show every Shabbat. In the comments, which I want you to comment, in the comments, you can put under, well, up until today, that little point I had not related altogether, and I was still praying in the name of Yeshua. I want you to comment that for me. So then, in what name do you pray? Does the Messiah pray unto Yahweh? Just like Yeshua prayed, the Father or Yahweh. Our Father, Yahweh. You understand, right? Very well. Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of Elohim to conceal the word, yet honor of the king is to search out the word. And you know what? Everything that I've just taught, it's still going around in my head. Even for everything that I've taught, you already know it. You have to refresh it because you forget. It is being lost. The enchantment of what we live is lost, and we live something very, very special. It is very important to understand the use of the names. It is very important to understand that the Messiah is on earth. It is difficult to comprehend, but in order to understand that, you have to have heard the Spirit. And if you understand the Spirit, just like the text says exactly, and that text comes to mind once again, it says, all who hath an ear to hear, because of course the people right in this moment, they don't have ears to hear, but all those that hath an ear to hear must listen unto the Spirit and understand what he saith unto the churches. This message is very important, is that Yahweh is telling you that it is a message that the Spirit was to give that was new. It was not the old one of ever. It's not what the pastor gives. It is not what the disciples give. It's not what is even written in the Bible. The Spirit was going to speak to you. It doesn't say that you would read it, because it could say, all who hath an eye to see and read it and understand that what the Spirit left written. Is that what the text says? No, it doesn't say that. The text says, all who hath an ear must listen unto the Spirit, to listen to the Spirit. And you don't listen to the Spirit by reading the Bible. You don't. You don't listen to the Spirit like that by reading the Bible. There's no way for you to fulfill that. So then you might say, well, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to say, I want to listen to the Spirit. And you want to see, the wrong spirit, the erroneous spirit of beliefs could speak to you. You're going to even start to speak in tongues and start to say stupid shit, or cry, or sing, or cast yourself into the ground and shake. I don't know. I mean, what stupid shit they say. That is a way of hearing the Spirit, but that's not the Spirit. So then whom should we hear? The pastors, they're not the Spirit. Who do we have to hear? We have to hear the Spirit. It is more than clear once you read this text that it says, all who hath an ear to hear must hear unto the Spirit. and understand what he saith unto the churches. All who are victorious, I shall give them of the hidden manna that has been hidden in heaven. That hidden manna in heaven is something which you will hear, not read. You'll hear it, and the Spirit will give you that. That is why the people cannot understand this. They can't. It'll only be understood by those who have an ear to hear the Spirit. No one else. On my timeline, where the video is, I placed the pictures of the ring. Oh, really? Let's see. Let's see how that picture looks. Let's see. Spectacular. And I think with that camera it's even better. We have to get from different angles, but you can see that celeste color that I was talking about. Oh yeah? Okay. From many angles. Okay, it is spectacular. Well, doesn't want to show me another one. I'm not sure if it's just the internet, but doesn't want to show them to me. I don't want to make a mistake here. If I push, I push, and it doesn't change the picture. You see, I'm clicking on the arrow. It's always the same thing. But you see a spectacular blue. Wow. It is precious, this ring is. Wow. And do not copy. Do not copy. Very well. Where were we? Do not copy, so then I won't tell you. Do not copy. Okay. And it's so heavy. I mean, I'm talking heavy, so heavy. Extremely heavy. How beautiful. Okay. Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of Elohim to conceal the word, yet honor of the king is to search out the word. Here you have it. Glory of Elohim is to conceal the word. It is hidden, that manna is. But the kings, they can get to obtain that manna, and not just the manna, but also the white stone. But that was to be given during a special period. After the 1335 days, and precisely, I didn't say this, precisely after that period of time, 1335, it is when we started the project of the white stone. It precisely happened that right there. This is not by chance. This is not an eclipse. It is facts. Prophecies fulfilled. That's what I'm telling you. This is already ended. Look, it's already ended. Absolutely ended. Even those that didn't have the money, it was taking long. We helped. Yes, whether they had the money or not, those that really wanted it, they got it. But many didn't ask for it, and we had to help them. And we had to tell them, yes, that's true. It says you have to have it. Yes, that's true. Not all that have it doesn't mean that they're going to receive something else. Of course. Exactly. Very well. Here, we still have Tanjiro. We have Tanjiro. It's so great I left them here a week. It's here spectacular. Tanjiro and Chokhmah together, both of them. In representation of this demon slayer, excuse me, the beautiful Chokhmah of Brian. So then if you don't look kind of like this, don't even try. I'm just playing. If you don't look give or take like this, don't even write Brian. Well, at least try. If you can dye your hair and wear eye contacts. And if you're already passed in weight, then go down. I didn't say it, Brian said that. It is, isn't that so, Brian? Oh, it is so. And Andrew is Angie's. Right, if you're not a wild man like that, then forget it. Right. Because Brian loves martial arts, so then if you don't know martial arts, how much is it to be a black belt? Taekwondo? 2 years. 2 years, 2 years, 2 years in your black belt Taekwondo, right? Wow. Wow. So then you have to be like this, and for you to like martial arts, for you to be a fan of polka, I mean, it's many requirements. Many requirements. Very well. Moving on. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Excuse me? Right, minimum, as Minto's saying, for her to have properties and things like that. To have properties, okay. Okay. Brian says that doesn't matter because he owns the whole earth. This is no problem. Malachi 2:17 says, "Ye have wearied Yahweh," and that's fine. 2:17 is coming up again, mind you, because now we're in number 1:4. Aviv is number 1. So then 2:17 is the second month on the 17th day. I'm not prophesying absolutely anything. What I'm saying is that'd be good. 2:17 is good once again. Every time that we go into that date, I love it. It should already be ended. Well, it depends. Not precisely ending of preparing. No, it's not that. It is the time. The time that he already has absolutely diagrammed. Absolutely. And that's why I comprehend it. He's not waiting for his last little sheep, like the pastors would say, to be repentant. No, he's not waiting for that. Malachi 2:17. Ye have wearied Yahweh with your words. And you say, and what have we wearied him? And that you say that whomever doth evil pleaseth Yahweh. And in such he delighteth, or else where is the Elohim of justice? I want to give an opinion, always contrary to what the world says, that if you were to listen to me, those that speak about soccer or football, we say football in soccer. You say football, but we say football. Those that like football or listen to football, they would say that I am completely disheartened, I mean completely stone-hearted, and a complete garbage. What I'm going to say now. But I'm going to say it either way, because that's what I think that is what was fair. Which has nothing to do with anything. I'm just giving you a comment. It's just to lose time in this time that I have to wait for. Just to waste some time. 20 days ago or 26 days ago, or Boca played a game with Estudiantes de La Plata. We went there. It was day 11 of the tournament, and on the 26th minute, give or take, the game was suspended because a player from Estudiantes de La Plata fell. His eyes went back in a very strong scene with his hands back. If you've seen an epileptic attack, it's a Chilean player, and he has an epilepsy. Ugly, because then the camera, you could see it in the camera, you could see his eyes backwards, just like an epileptic heart. I mean, it was horrible. So then the players were shocked, especially those of his team, Estudiantes. They were very much shocked, and the game was stopped, and the ambulance came, took him, and already when he got to the hospital, because the game was stopped, they were all very much affected, or they looked affected. I come from a generation that they're not affected. I would see epileptic attacks and nobody was affected. We would help the guy and that's it, it was over. But this new generation, that is affected with whatever. They get shocked with whatever and they don't know what to do. But oh well, those of my age, which is the best generation that has ever existed, the X, Generation X, Gen X. What year is Gen X? I'll tell you which is the best generation. If you're not there, I'm sorry for you, but the best generation, it is the X. The rest, the rest is another one. The best is X, the one that thinks more. It's everything. There's a reason. Why? This is the Gen X. Exactly. Between the years 65 and 81, if you're born there, that is the best generation that exists. The best. If you're outside of that generation, we accept you either way. But the best of them all is that one. If you're more ancient than that, you have a problem. If you're newer than that, then you have lots of problems already. The Gen X is the one that thinks correctly, the more mentally stable, the one that learned many things that the new generations never learned, and learned more things that the previous generation did not learn because they're older and they don't understand. So then in this point in time, the Gen X is the best. Exactly. From 65 to... From 65 to 81. To 81. Okay, to 81. So then all of you young bloods afterwards, you don't even know how to change a tire. Exactly. My generation lived without a phone, and we learned to live with cell phones. The generation that were grown, that grew up with cell phones ever since they were born, they'll never experience what happened before. My generation lived so many things that your generation didn't live, the new ones. In music, in what was, I don't know, whatever economical and political situation of the countries, the education is all different. It's all different. So then, our generation, the X generation, is considered to be the best, and period. That's it. And I don't accept any discussions about it. Now, we do accept the others. But the newer you are, you're more crystal. Now you tell the kids something kind of strong, and they're like, oh, they get upset. Oh. With their little heart broken and traumatized. You didn't use the right term, and the fucking bitch that bore you. No, how are you going to say those words? The baby boomers came before, post the World War, and the millennials, wow. And the ones that are coming now, Gen Z, don't even mention it. But the Gen X is the best. And what else did I have to tell you? Okay, yeah, so then the game of Boca was playing the best 26 minutes of the whole entire championship. We were playing in their own field. Estudiantes didn't even see the ball, not even square, and Boca was about to score the first one, and it was going to be many. As it turns out, this guy, Chilean, he fell. They take him to the hospital, and from the hospital they call and they say, this player is already conscious. Just saying, it's the only thing that he got back. He's conscious again. He's stable again. And that and all, the players of Estudiantes said, we cannot continue the game. We can't continue the game. The stadium is full. We can't continue the game. We're shocked. And the players of Boca, he told them, what do you want to do? And the players of Boca said, okay, no, if they don't want to continue, we'll suspend it. We'll play it later. That's a mistake. That's a mistake of these fucking idiots, sons of thousands of bitches. They're fucking stupid idiots. That's why I need a coach like me in the fucking... Pardon me. Do not get upset. Okay, I wanted to start to destroy everything. Careful there. Oh, wow. This one is for one side. Oh, yeah. Oh, Tanjiro. See, this is generation. Millennial? Is it a millennial? This guy's a millennium? Okay, there we go. I would like to speak to the players in the locker room, but in this generation you can't tell them these sons of a fucking thousand bitches. They're You can't fire anybody. Oh, run. Oh, because he got an epilepsy, and we already know why. Because after the studies, you see that he had a thrombosis, and that is what he got the epileptic attack. That was a product of the abomination that make it desolate. But of course. But how is a game gonna be suspended where a guy dies? That is, even if he were to die. You have another one and bring him. It continues. It continues. Damn it! How's it not gonna continue? No, we're all shocked. What are we gonna do? What sons of bitches? That day, the very next day, a professional tennis player here in the Florida Open was playing against another, and something was that happened. He fell. Obviously, the referee stopped the game. Are they gonna play it again? No, he loses by default. Even if you're dead, you have a headache or you fell dead, you lost it. Damn it! So then, Estudiantes of La Plata should have lost. I don't understand how a fucking newspaper doesn't say it in all of Argentina. It says, "Oh, now it's the life of a player is worth a lot more." It's not about comparing the life of a player with a sports event. It's not about that. It's not about that. If the life is lost, it is lost. But it's kind of like a boxer. Oh, you hit me way too hard. Let's suspend it. Let's suspend it. I fell to the ground. No, that's why I'm telling you that this Gen X is the best. This crystal generation is breaking my balls already because I'm buying a bunch of faggots, all kinds of shit. And it says, "Oh, don't tell me that because I'll get upset." Okay, I'll call the manager. The fucking bitch that bore you, you son of a bitch. So then, what you need is a little more balls. That's why I don't like the coach Martinez from Boca. I don't like him because he's small. You need a big guy with a lot more balls than him to say, "What? You're not gonna play? I'm never gonna." What? I hear you. Pass backwards, you son of a bitch, and I'll kick you out right in the very minute. Don't play backwards. No, they touch backwards. Go forward, you sons of bitches. I'm gonna play with a team of non-stars. I'll make them play like stars because what they need is a little of incentive to play and technique and tactics for Baca that lost. Because yesterday we stopped playing the game, which was suspended, and we lost. Boca played to nothing, just like if they had never even shown up on the field. This is all that I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you this because here I'm not gonna have any companion that is like that because we are not of that way. We're not gonna have that way. Here I don't want any sentimentalist nor any emotionalist that, "Oh, because you spoke too hard, then go and fuck off to your fucking mother's cunt," just like that. Go to the fucking bitch that bore you. I get offended because you spoke to me too harsh. Yeah, offended. Yeah, I was going to tell a story, but no. Which one? No, not that one. Not that one. No, not that one. Another one. No, about the ring. The guy. Yeah, we'll give a take without a name. For example, a story of the last ones that I was going to give. Some guy came. I'm not going to say his name. He wrote and he sent the money for the ring. And what happened is, I don't know, 2-3 months, I didn't have the ring. And I told them, you have to wait, like all of you waited. And all of a sudden he writes to me, he said, "I want to know if you're going to send me the ring." Just like, that's what he wrote to me. That's the way he wrote me. I could almost read you the email if you care. While I look for this, let me tell you what happened with Boca yesterday. Yes, obviously, or else they can fuck off right now. Or else I'll send him now to his mother's cunt. Paraphrase it. Yes, well, I just wanted to show precisely, because I could tell him and I didn't want to add anything. That's what happens. I didn't want to add or take away. No, well, I can't find it. Okay, the situation's like this. After 2 or 3 months, after he paid for the value of the ring, he says, pardon me, Christian, no, it's because I'm not even going to remember well. The one that you told me is called that guy, and it starts with a P, right? No, it's not. No, maybe he deleted me. Maybe he deleted me then. Maybe he deleted me. Okay, give or take, he said this. Look, Mr. Christian, you have to be just. I don't see the message. You have to be just, he says. And I hope you are just. It says, or you give me back the money, or you send me the ring. That is what he wrote. That is what he wrote. So then I said, he precisely grabbed me when I had the ring in my hands to send it to him. That's by chance, by chance. I had it in my hand. It was the number that he was asking for precisely, and I wrote to him. And I wrote to him as soon as I read the message, and didn't read the message. I didn't read the message, and I read it, and I'm sure he's asking me, because many would ask me, Christian, do you have an idea when it'll be ready? And I accept that perfectly well. But for them to rush me like that, horribly so, I thought it was... But I just overread it and read it. He's like, oh, he must be right, asking me. So then I wrote to him without reading the message. My mistake. And I said, I have your ring already. It goes out this week. And the next day, I see that the message was read, but he didn't answer anything. And I start to read the message. That's when he says, Mr. Christian, you have to be just, and I hope you're just. Either you give me back the money, or you send me the ring. Something like that. So then that's when I answered. I said, look, no, I'm not going to send you the ring unless you tell me now that you desire it with all your heart. Because that's not the way that you should speak to me. One thing is for you to say, is it possible? Or how long will it take? Because now I need the money. I'll give it back to... Now I'm going to give you the money tomorrow. And that's it, it's over. And the ring? Unless you really desire it with all your heart, and you say why you desire it. Now you're going to tell me why you desire it. I give him a chance, so that he doesn't say, oh, how unjust. Now you're going to tell me why you desired the ring. Why? Because the way you spoke to me is not correct. It is not a way that we shall study later, how you speak to the people that are above you. Just as simple as that. And the thing is that he thought that you were taking too long yourself, because it had been a month. Right. Oh, to top it off. But how many people have to wait even more? How many of you had to wait for the rings? How many months did you wait for? Yes. Yes. Some even waited for 4 months. Yes, minimum. That was just to ask me. He should have just asked, hey, don't forget about the ring. I'm waiting for it. Whatever. How many ways there are of speaking. But the disrespect to someone that teaches you, and actually it is lack of wisdom completely. So then I told the guy, I said, look, if you, I have the ring to send. If you want it, the ring actually, you have to tell me why now, and you have to tell me why you threaten me also with asking for the money back to see if I'm just. What do you think, that I'm unjust? What do you think, that I'm stealing that money? Or else directly I'll give you the money today. So then he answered, he says, give me back the money. He says, and I'm sorry that he doesn't speak and doesn't know how to speak. I said, yeah, for some guy, for the Messiah, he's no good. Tell it to you now. Not that, or any generation gets upset for anything. No, it's no good, obviously. Oh, that's something else. And now they get together with all these people, right? Exactly. Not as a gift, nor even if they pay for it, of course. If they renounce to what they believe. And many of you go and put like to those people, mind you. I've seen people like anyone. Tell me, whom do they put likes on? Whom do they put likes on? All those people that act incorrectly. You can give me a name, I'll say it. You don't want to? All these people from Cordoba. The people from Cordoba. Oh, them? Oh, a whole bunch of people we gave the ring. But if you are idiots, look, actually, look, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be very honest with this, because I'm not here to make you feel well when you should not feel well. If you are stupid enough or ignorant enough or petit, so as to, for a person that either he eliminated us or we eliminated them, if you're so stupid and you have to go to their timeline and put them a like, a comment, a heart, you have all the right to do so, but I also have all the right to, if I have to choose you to work with me, I will not choose you. That is all that you want. I want you to keep in mind, because everything is left marked when a person is already disrespectful and they want to leave and they laugh, and someone that supposedly is of this group then go and put them a like or comments because they didn't know. If you didn't know, because you don't listen to the sermons of the eternal truth. That's first of all. If you don't listen to the eternal truth, if you were to listen to them every Shabbat, you would know exactly what person leaves, what persons we criticize, or what persons we say this person has left. If you don't know that, is that you don't listen. Let's start with that. I mean, there's no excuse. Those that hear, kind of lightly, it is the problem that they'll never be a part of this. But of course, I'm going to tell it to you right now. But if you did not notice, quote unquote, it's because you don't listen. And if you did notice, and that and all, you say, and I could care less whatever relation they have with Christian and Leslie. I like this person. That's fine. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's very fine. That's great. Just bear something in mind that we don't like you. Just like that. We don't like you. Since you like a person that disrespected us, not just us, but all of the LVE, because the Eternal Truth is a group, then you have not understood what Messiah is. Messiah will be a unique group. They're not a group that's divided, because if you don't listen to what the Spirit says, then what are you going to understand? So then, yes, Leslie's right, that all those that leave, and then people put likes on them, and they put little hearts on them, there's always remember that you're going to reap what you sow. Just that. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Farewell. So then, I was telling you about the Boca game. It was suspended. If Boca at that time would have said, when the first game was being played, look, the player, we have received the news that he's okay. He didn't die. He has recovered. He's conscious again. Just put a replacement and we'll continue playing. You understand what I'm saying? The game could continue to be played. No, Boca accepted, and they said, well, because they said, we're disheartened, we can't play this way. Oh, then just sign here, and they give us 3 points then. You don't want to play, that's perfect. You don't want to play for it. But the 3 points are ours, sir, okay? Don't fall. The 3 points are ours. We'll define the 3 points today. It's not that, oh, we don't want to play because I'm in an anemic state. No, sir, you don't want to play? Then give me the 3 points, and we won't play it again. Don't you worry about it. We don't play it again. No, we're not going to play when you want to play. Imagine if this were to take place in a final of the world. The game would not be suspended. What stupid shit is done in Argentina? Why is that allowed? Just like in tennis. Oh, the guy, he fell unconscious. He lost by default. Immediately, he lost by default. That's it. It's over. You'll never again play that game. It's lost. If you in tennis, something hurts your hand, your ass, or you have a diarrhea, or you fell unconscious, then you lost the game, period. That's it. So then that game of Estudiantes should have been continued to be played during that date. Nobody has ever said this in all of Argentina, because I listen to what they say and tell the truth. It's nauseous. Everyone in agreement, but they're not even followers of Boca. If it had happened with a player of Boca, anyone Cavani, for him to fall, take him out, put another one, bring another guy. But he died. Cavani died. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You could be, put him away. The show must continue. The show must go on. But of course the show must go on. No, this guy, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Two can fall. We'll bring another one. We'll play even with less. We'll play, but we'll play it either way. We're men. We'll play it either way. Boca played yesterday a dog shit game. 2 minutes. 2 times of 31 minutes. That's not even soccer. Well, of course, they had played first. Some minutes there. And now it was a little tiny short. It was dog shit. Boca didn't even know what the fuck they were playing. And Estudiantes won. Oh, like that. Oh, that's how you pay for the supposed good actions of Boca. That told them, no, I'm going to continue to play. Wrong, very wrong. They need to learn a lesson. Boca didn't. I want you to understand all the bosteros. Oh, Boca did not do a good action by saying, oh, you feel bad? Let's suspend it. No, we'll play it now. Or you give them the points. Of course. Replace it. If you have somebody to replacement in the bench. We lost a soldier. We ended up playing with 10. Who was that against who? The one that we played against Copa, the South American Cup. I can remember this. So, 4th class, a team, Trinidad. Some defender was injured, and the coach made all the changes, and we ended up with one less game. Or sometimes they even have to choose, if it's the goalie, but it's not about saying, hey, let's suspend it. No, for him to go, because either he dies or something, or his knee hurts, either way, let him come out. If there's a replacement, to be replaced, or else let it continue, or else we are making a generation of faggots, complete faggots. The fucking. And if you also thought that it was okay to suspend it, you're a fucking faggot as well. Those are my words. Those were my words. If I were the coach of Boca, it says, what? You don't want to play? No, let's suspend. Okay. 0 for both of you, and we don't play again. Boca says, I want to play. Then 3 points for you. And that's it. Fuck it off to hell. Move on to something. Move on to the next. That's it. Something else. Learn to do things well. Proverbs, the text of the invitation, that of course, we're not even going to get to the text because I have to answer questions. And aside from that, I'm going to give a message of the new year to remind you that this year, everything could be fulfilled. Absolutely everything. Let me read something, just so that you understand a little bit more that we're living in a very special month. Let us go to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12. And let us look for the text now. Because we're about to enter into Pesach now. I also want to talk to you about Pesach. Well, we're going to have to speak next Shabbat a little bit about Pesach. Because it could be a very special Pesach. Exodus chapter 12 says, number 1, it says, no. Today we're going to eat spaghetti. No, I don't think so. Today we're going to eat spaghetti. What are we going to eat today? Rigatoni. With meat and with a sauce. Those that don't know what the rigatoni, they're like the penne, the Argentinian penne, but the stronger one, the thicker one. The penne here that is too fine. It's a fine penne, which in Spanish sounds like penis, but it's mostacholi because it's. So then, what do you call it? What do you call the name? No, there's another name. Rigatoni. They call it rigatoni. Okay, it says rigatoni. Okay, it's like a penny that you know, but thicker. It's Italian in Buenos Aires, and that's the one I liked. It's just like the penne that you know. I have to give him the penne that you know. It's round. The penne is in Buenos Aires, not over there. Yes, it's here. It's very fine. It's thin. When we came here and says, "What is that?" They said, "That's penne." No, we know another one that's a lot thicker, mozzarella. Well, that's it. That's it. That's what we're gonna eat. So then, I'm not gonna speak about that way too much. Exodus chapter 12. Does anybody understand what we're talking about? Yeah, I'm speaking directly about a penne. Show it to them. Give me a penne. Well, either way, we'll show them. I'll show you a mostacciol, the big one that we know. It's thick. It's bigger, longer. It's different. It's just different. Very different. Very well. What am I saying? If I can't be any clearer, Exodus chapter 12 says, "And Yahweh spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying," this month, in other words, Aviv, "this month shall be unto you the beginning." The word beginning actually means the main one, the most important one of the months. Unto you, this will be the first, and that first is not first as in number, but first in everything out of the months of the year, of the 12 months, the beginning, the main one, the most important one, is the month of Aviv. And in the month of Aviv, many things happened. Just like Yahweh initiated his ministry, he was baptized, he died in the month of Aviv. Israel went out from the land of Egypt. Israel went into the land of Canaan, and anything happened. The month of Aviv is the most important one of them all. It's just like that, of them all, period. That is all that I want to. That is why precisely I told you that this year is very important. For me, this year is very important, and this month is extremely important, and it'd be very great about the threats that Iran is talking about. They'd be very, very great. Well, I don't know if you put a different version there, Gabi. We had read some other versions that were very good. None? Put a good one. Or some other ones that are good. Exodus 12. What's it say in the Torah? He just posted right now. In the Spanish RV 1960s, Spanish RV 1960s, the one that I read, Gabi, another one. What's it say here? It should be the first of the month. Yeah, it says the same thing that the Spanish RV 1960. In the New Bible, I don't know what else. The Spanish Bible, this month shall be unto you the main one. You see what it means? It should be unto you the first month of the year. Very good. Very good. So then we are precisely in this month, and in this month we will enjoy Pesach. And what does Pesach mean? Pesach. Let's see when Pesach, we get Pesach, which is, of course, I've already told you, given you the calendar. Pesach will be in less than 2 weeks. Pesach will be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 10 days away from Pesach. We're 10 days away from Pesach, of course. This is, well, what good math is yours? Today's the fourth. Pesach is the 14th. You start to count like this with your fingers. Well, you see, you also didn't tell me. You didn't tell me. Did they put a different version? So that this month will be into the main one in the months. You see, this is in the Spanish of 1960. The Spanish of 1960, this is this month will be the main one. If nothing happens during Pesach, nothing will happen during the whole year. So what I'm trying to say is Pesach. pardon me, in Aviv. If nothing happens in Aviv in the year, and the rest of the months of the year, just kind of like that. Aviv is the main one. And we are 10 days away from Pesach. 10 days. How will it be on Tuesday? Well, everyone will celebrate it however they give or take they are used to. We, as a group, we have a good dinner and we drink in a cup. All of us do. Yeah, it's on the 14th day. The 14th day, we get together after the noonday, and we haven't said what we're going to eat, and we make the food amongst all of us, and when the sun is going down, we do the rite that Yeshua taught Yahweh, which is a rite. Also, it's a rite. A rite that for me, it is very important. It's to wash your feet, and after washing your feet, we drink the cup, and we take a sip. Every one of us, we make an invocation. We pray to Yahweh to bless this cup, and with a little bit of matzah, which is unleavened bread. You already know this. And also, we do the rite of eating a little bit of unleavened bread, and we'll eat the whole rest of the week, obviously. This whole week, that whole week is the feast of the matzot, the unleavened bread, and we're gonna that whole week gonna be eating that. But that is where we eat the bread that represents the flesh of Yahweh. We also take the blood, which represents the blood of Yahweh. We take it as a symbol of victory, because it is the death of Yahweh. Yahweh is the serpent. It is the serpent that Moses rose up in the desert. I'm not saying it. He himself says it in John 3. Yahweh, just as Moses raised the serpent in the desert, in the same way the Son of Man has to be raised. He's talking about precisely about the exact comparison. The other was a symbol, and this was reality. So then, by taking the blood, it is the blood of victory. It is not the blood that cleanses us from sins like we are taught. No, it is the blood of victory, because we are eating. We're taking, in a symbolic manner, the blood of Yahweh and the flesh of Yahweh. We are eating it in the signs of victory. We could also add that since we are in the school of the Messiah, the symbol that by eating Yahweh himself and the blood of his, we become, if we understand this correctly, we become part of him, his nature. If we are eating the Messiah, because obviously Yahweh, we're not eating the blood of Yahweh, nor the blood of Yahweh, or the flesh of Yahweh, because it is the human body which Yahweh took. It is not the original body of Yahweh, nor is it the blood, if he has blood, the original one, but the body that he took. You understand what I'm saying, right? So then, it is actually the body, if we see it once again, seeing it even more into depth, it is the blood and the flesh of the Messiah, of what Yahweh took. Yes or no? Okay. So then, all that is a victory, and also on the side of Yahweh, but on the side of the Messiah, we see it kind of like it is a part of, if we understand this correctly, it's kind of like we become that Messiah. And I find that to be very, very interesting. And to top it off, Yahweh, who was in the role of the Messiah, told his disciples, but actually he tells us, because the disciples are all dead, and they're going to have to accept the true Messiah, tells them, I can't wait until I'm with you once again. Because this is, I'm not going to participate of this until I take it with you in the kingdom. That kingdom of the earth, the kingdom of the earth is the new earth. And to take Yahweh with us is not with the disciples. That could also be the case. But he's talking about to take it with the Messiah. Until then. That makes Pesach a very special date. Just like that. Very special. Very special. That is all that I will say. Very special date. In a month of the most important of them all. Of them all. That is why we have to enjoy it. We have to enjoy this month of Aviv. Very well. Next Shabbat, we shall speak about Pesach, of how, I know that all of you know, but just in case there's someone that doesn't know, that we're going to take the time of what we do as a symbol. Very well. But we have we're 10 days away. Next week, it'll be, how many days? It's 10 minus 7, 3 days away. Very well. It's already been past 2 hours. Questions. We go to the questions now. Now we go to the questions. But either way, I'll read because pay attention unto my corrections, and I will fill you with my spirit. Wow. Oh, wow, just like that. What a text. Pay attention unto my corrections, and I will fill you with my spirit. I will make my thoughts be known unto you. Questions. This question was made public in YouTube, and I'll read it because it's public. I'll read it because I liked it. And I can answer it. So then it's a comment of YouTube of John Perez. I'm saying it because it's public, just like right below the video. It reads as follows. It says, hello, LVE Lynch. Many of you may have read it. I have a question about business. And I'll try to understand it because there are things I don't understand. I decided to invest in a business with an individual. And when I asked him for an account, he acted as if the Virgin was speaking to him. That phrase, I've never heard it, but now I can imagine what it means. He completely acted like he didn't hear anything. He spoke as if the Virgin would speak to him, and in the following month, or halfway through it, I suspected that he was going down the same path. And I decided to exit that action, quote unquote, business transaction, asked him for my investment back. The lie was greater than what I thought. In other words, they completely scammed him. The lie was even greater than what I thought. He never had money, and he just used me to rent a place. I had the need for one, and it was the perfect excuse. A building, right, that I can imagine to work. It is not to drink alcohol. You tell somebody that it is a storage room. Why do we say that a storage? A bodega is only a place where you put wine, a winery. Yeah, but in Argentina you don't use bodega for something else. That's what I'm saying. You say I'm going to the bodega, to the storage place. Let's see what it says in the Spanish Royal Academy. Let's go to bodega, the RAE. Because we'll fix this quickly. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe in Argentina they're all drunkards, and they call that a bodega, and it's wrong. Bodega definition. It says as follows: a place in which wine is take that, like always. Argentinians, correct. A place in which they take wine. 2, a storage of wine, a bodega. 3, a store for wine. 4, an establishment that's generally industrial for the elaboration of wine, and so it's all related with wine. 5, harvest of much place of wine in a place. 6, a storage place for the food. No, that's something else. That's number 6. No, 6. A place to keep cereal. Well, in Cuba, in Costa Rica, Ecuador, Honduras, and Mexico, it's a storage place. There it is. That is where it resides. What our friend Armando said, it is the degeneration of the language. Because to me, I could give a fuck that in Costa Rica, in Ecuador, Honduras, and in Mexico, they call it what it's not. Bodega is not a storage place. That's why we have the word storage place. The bodega is a storage for wine. And you can also make wine, but it is all about wine and not of anything else. It is wine. And when I say wine, here they understand that it could be any alcohol. No, Minto. There's another one. No. He comes and says, we're drinking wine and they're drinking tequila. You see how they use that? It is, no, that's wrong. Just like that. It's wrong, 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 wrong. Wine is the grape juice, which is made and turned into wine. In other words, it's all the fermentation and becomes wine. But only grape juice. Everything else that is liquor, it is not wine. It is very different to wine. It's like if I were to say, yes, beer, and I'm drinking something else. Oh, you wouldn't like that for me to use the word beer for whatever stupid shit. Okay, beer. In Mexico, they call birria. They call them birras, right? In Argentina, we call them birras. Not birria, but birra. Birria in Mexico. What is in Guatemala? Where's the other drunkard? When I need him, I'm calling him. He's drinking, leave the bottle, Minto, and come. They're calling you. They need your expertise. We need your expertise in something that you're an expert in. You see how in Guatemala, they also call wine to whatever alcohol? Are you sure about that? What is wine? They call it table wine. Just like that, table wine. He was listening. And in Mexico, they call wine anything, just anything. He came and left. Just anything. Exactly. We're drinking wine. No, wine is wine. And you call birria to the beers? Just beer? Chela. You say chela? In Mexico? Just beer. He's nervous. He's nervous. Yeah, I got Marinto nervous. Chelas. They call it in Mexico too. In Argentina, birras. Instead of birrias, they say birras. It all comes from the word in English beer. Because they heard an Argentinian and a Mexican came and they heard him and they said, hey, you want a beer? And the Mexican heard birria. That's what the Mexican heard. It's all this called birria. And he took it to Mexico and they called them all birria. But he heard beer and the Argentinian, the other idiot, he didn't hear birria. He said birra. And the American, you want a beer? And he heard, you want a birra? This is how this is called a birra. He took it to Argentina and taught all the people there that it's called a birra. That's the way it is. Like chimichurri. Chimichurri. Something so Argentinian. Churri, as it turns out that the story says that it's in the sauce. So a bodega is a wine cellar, but everyone utilizes the language the way they damn please. And that is why we've got to purify the language. We have to purify it entirely. Moving on here with, I'm just reading a comment from a question. That's what I'm reading. So then he says, we are correcting everything here, even the word bodega, which is used incorrectly in Ecuador, Mexico, and the Caribbean, which is a wine cellar and not a grocery store, as they say in most of Latin America. Get it right. Oh yes, in Italian they say birra. Really? Oh, look at that. Interesting. So then from Latin, it's where the Americans, some idiot American heard two Italians speaking. So they said, what? They heard two Italians speaking and said birra, birra, and now it's beer, beer. That is how the language were made. Two idiots listening, and one understands whatever, and the other one and takes it back home. The lie was greater than what I thought. He never had money, and he used me to rent a bodega, but not of wine. I had the need for one, and it was the perfect excuse to rent a bigger one and to have a business that is precisely in front of me. And it's been 2 months, and he has not given me back a lot. I trust in the Most High, and I know that I acted with justice and honesty, but it really hurt in the bottom of my heart. Commenting to Don Juan, and I call you Juan, as you left the name there in the comments of YouTube. Juan. You're a complete idiot. That is the question that I have to tell you. Stop watching. I trust in the Most High. No. The Most High has nothing to do here. When you're an idiot and you make mistakes, let's take the Most High out of it. I trust in the Most High, and I'll jump up from the building. No, let's take the Most High out. Who the fuck? How is it that you go into a business with some guy that, like, I mean, they can deceive you in certain things, but you have to be a very much of an idiot to believe some guy that says the lie was so great. Either you're such an idiot for them to lie to you that way. We're talking about business here. So then, let's take the Most High out of here. Let's take the things out. And since the answer has been public, the question was public, I'll answer it in public, and I'll answer it correctly. You're thinking wrong like a woman, like a little woman. You can't think like that in businesses. He says, I trust in the Most High, and I know that I acted with justice and honesty. No, you acted like a fucking idiot. Justice and honesty is not about giving $10,000 next to my window right outside because of justice and honesty, and I leave it there. That is not what it is to be justice and honesty. Justice and honesty is not to go get into a business with somebody from the outside. Justice and honesty is to be honest with yourself. Let's see how much do you have. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. What do you have? What do you want the business for? You have this much money? Because look, the least thing that I want is for us to be wrong here. So then we're talking about justice and honesty is intelligence. It is intelligence. We cannot act with justice in the name of justice and honesty and do stupid things. We can't act that way. You understand what I'm trying? I hope this for everyone, not just for one. This is for everyone. I acted with justice and honesty, and I asked the doctor for the third dose. There's no justice or honesty. There's stupidity there. Let's see if you understand. In fact, the stupidity of Boca with Estudiantes was paid for by Boca. You know why? And it's expensive, because they could say, oh, be acted with justice and honesty. Oh, is your player doesn't feel well? He has to leave. Let's suspend it because we're all baby girls and want you to play with morally and with the best and mentally there. Because I saw that some players, especially one from River, one of 1,000 bitches that is dog shit, that is Enzo Perez, whatever, and some dog shit guy, whatever. He started to cry. I said, what the fuck's going with this idiot? But even if he were to die, this guy, what the fuck are you made of? Oh, cry later. At home. So you have to cry, whatever, all that dog shit. I don't understand. But Boca, since they didn't act with justice, because the justice, either you play or you lose the points. There's no other justice. It's not about if Boca did something, oh, we leave. It was injustice for me that I was watching the game, for all the people that went to the field and paid for it. That is injustice. And then to not know when to put the date. So if you act in the name of justice, you act with injustice. And I could enumerate 10,000 cases in where you thinking that you're acting with justice, you act with injustice. Because you don't have the fucking idea what it is to be just. And you make mistakes. You make mistakes one and time again. And Tito Parafa says, in the name of justice. Because I am very just, and you're not just. You're not just. You're precisely an idiot in doing these things. He says, I trust in the Most High. No, don't trust in the Most High when you do stupid things. No, don't trust in the Most High. Trust in the Most High when you give the tithes. Trust in the Most High when you do things well. But when you do things wrong, don't say, I trust in the Most High. Don't say that. It says, I'm teaching, because if you want to learn, I have to be brutally honest, or else nobody will learn. Nobody would learn. If you, tell a pastor or your friend, he would say, oh, poor thing, what a problem, oh, that's awful. They really shit on you. They saw a stupid face. They saw that you had a stupid face. No, I'm just kidding. You're so honest and so good. I'm thinking, what an idiot. It was just so good. And you went into business with some guy that scammed you. And you have such trust in God. God will give you everything. Yes, move on. That's the advice I don't give. I look at you and I tell you, look, you fucked up. And if you don't change, you're going to fuck up one in time again, because you don't know what justice is. Justice with yourself and with the family, if you have it, your lineage. It is not to make mistakes like that. Not to make mistakes. If a father of a family or a husband an economical mistake because of trusting in, I don't know, it could be an associate or whatever, and ruins his house and his wife, tell me, no matter if it's because of justice, that is what it is to be unjust. Do you understand what I'm saying? The man has to see past that, because if some idiot deceives you like that, what about someone very intelligent? I mean, he goes right over you, he strikes you, he rapes you, and you don't even notice. I mean, you have to start to use your head. John's saying, why did I ask? So that you learn and stop being an idiot. Or else just continue being an idiot, so that I'm giving you something that you won't find anywhere else. It is the best advice in the world. The mistake is yours. You looked for a bad partner, a bad associate, then the mistake is yours. And you didn't correct the mistake. And never say, I trust in the Most High. No. Trust in the Most High if you do things right. Okay. I'll read this again. I have a question about the business. I decided to invest in a business with an individual, and when I asked him about it, he acted as if the Virgin would speak to him. In the following month, halfway through it, I suspected, I had the slight suspicion. I suspect that he says, something is wrong. I suspected that it was going down the same path, and I decided to get out of that relation. I asked him for an inversion. The lie was greater than what I thought. He had completely scammed me more than what I thought. He never had money. And he just used me to rent for a bodega, so then you're a victim. And I had the need of one, and it was the perfect excuse to rent a bigger one and to have a business that's completely just in front of me. And it's been 2 months and he hasn't given anything back. It's like the gymnastic players, and they're out just going, oh, what a victim. I trust in the Most High, and I know that I acted with justice and honesty. But it really hurt me in the bottom of the heart. You see, you're acting like a victim that has hurt a generation of crystals that hurt you in the heart. Go and break his soul and says, you're going to give me even the very last fucking dollar that I gave you. What? Or else I'll break you everything that you have. Oh, it hurts me in the heart. He scammed me. The player fell. We can't play. He's going like this. He's going like this. The ambulance took him. They just told you that he's fine. Yeah, but I don't feel well now. I don't feel well. I can't strike the ball. I don't feel well. And I'm a chicken because I come from River, that team of a fucking 1,000 bitches. I'm a chicken and I cry and I see a player that does like this and I pray and I can't concentrate to play. It'd be better, since I was playing so wrong, let's play it later and we'll beat you because you're an idiot. So then Boca, they're complete idiots, almost just as idiots, just like Juan, or like our friend Juan, that it hurts his heart because he made an investment with somebody that you should not made an investment with him. you how can you consider to be a businessman and then you get scammed? Oh no, you cannot get scammed. And if he scams you, you fix that quickly. I mean, quickly you fix that. What about Tanjiro? Quickly you fix it. I mean, wow, wow. I'm answering the question they asked me, okay, just so that you learn. He says, he says, you see how he's Babylon, he staffed me. It's just that he has lots of power. But just wait for things to go back there and have to listen to me, to the very last son of a bitch. Even the last son of a bitch, the last one. The last one. He says, I trust in the Most High, and I know that I acted with justice and honesty, but it hurt me in the bottom of my heart. The money was not a lot. So then why the fuck did it hurt if it was not the money? He says he's thinking that John's playing, why the fuck did I write this? I wanted him to answer me, well, that's the way I answer. That's the way I answer, mind you. And you have a lot to learn. If you get offended, the door's right there. I am teaching you. Wow. I mean, of course, if they had told you like that since you were little, and nobody would shit on you, and if they shit on you, you'd get that back quickly, and not a long time would pass. The money was not a lot, and in 2 months, my business gave it back to me. The question is, what would the Mashiach do in a situation like that? Well, the Mashiach, that is why I'm answering it. That is why I'm answering this. One. The Mashiach acts like the way I told you that he had to act. That's why I'm answering it that way. The Mashiach acts in the way that I'm telling you. He fixes things because he fixes them. First of all, he tries to not get scammed, but if they scam him, he'll fix it. If he has no other choice, then in his mind he has to say that he gave it away. Right? It doesn't. His heart does not hurt. But the Mashiach I'm talking about, it should not hurt the Mashiach, his little heart. This is, I'll give it to this idiot, but you'll never again do it again. But shove it in your ass. That is in Argentina. Shove it way up your ass. Everyone will understand that. But shove it way up there. You know, I can help you shove some things there. Let's put everything through there, but keep it. And so then the Mashiach says that. That's what the Mashiach says. So then he says, that is what the Mashiach says. That's why I read your question. It says, what would the Mashiach do in a situation like that? He'll laugh his ass off because, Taparav, you wanted to scam me, you idiot. Now I have twice as much. See? It's not that my heart will hurt. Thank you absolutely for every minute of your time and wisdom that you give us, and for being an example to follow as a family. It'd be better because family means from famine, from hunger. It is a group, just like you said, by being an example of a good group of slaves that are starving. That is what family means. That is what he wrote. And thanks for being an exemplary group of starving slaves and that we should follow. Yes, exactly. Family means group of slaves that are starving to death. Ilia is group and is famine. That term used to be used in Rome. So then you had the divided clans due to groups of slaves that were starving to death. Those that were not slaves were called lineage, not families. Lineage. That is why up until today, always the kings and all the rest are called lineages. Ignorance and call it a family, the royal family, but they're lineages. To continue with his family, continue rocking until the promised land. Perfect. I hope you liked my question. It goes with all my love. Sincere, telling you, so that you are, I'll speak to you like I would speak to a son, so that you learn for this to never happen again. If it happens, you know what? Their heart hurt without any more information, because maybe that person that you tell me, you're not giving me, whatever, if it was a brother or a friend that you appreciated a lot, I don't know about that information. Maybe it was, I don't know. I'm going to say something, barbarity here. Because I like to say barbarities, but oh well, I shouldn't say it. Well, I'm not going to say it then, of course, exactly. But if it didn't go through a situation like that, that's very clear, as if it was a brother himself. If it hurt your heart, it hurt as loss of money and loss of territory. Loss of territory, it really hurt your heart because for the heart to hurt, you have to have felt the loss of something that is related to territory. And it hurt when you were already getting back. When you saw that in your money, you won that. And there's where you felt a little bit of pain. You have to be careful with that because what could be happening without knowing any more information, mind you, what could be happening to you, Juan, is that you gave him way too much importance to that. So then you saw it like a loss and then recuperation, and you felt a pain in the heart. You should not be so. You have to let things go, like Leslie say, let them go and give them either way, but it should not affect your heart. Many times things have happened to us, maybe not in that dimension, but similar. And in our mind, we say, "Oh, I'll give it to them." Exactly. I'll give it. Like the company say, "Oh, this is a loss. This is a loss." And I know. Look, I'll teach you a rule. I'll teach you a rule. I'll teach you this rule. I'll teach it to you because it could also have been that it didn't hurt him physically, but yes, sentimentally so. Because it says, but it hurt in the bottom of the heart. So then it could be that he was left. No, but of course not. I'm just teaching you this rule quickly. Where can I teach you this? In the whiteboard, let me teach you this rule. You've got. I'll teach it to you without anything. So I'm going to repeat this point. I'm going to repeat it. In a little bit, I'll repeat it. You've got Elohim, God, Yahweh. We've got us, and then we've got another person. So then, when I let people borrow money, somebody that asks for it, I let them borrow money. I never have to see it, kind of as if I am letting them borrow it from my money, because my money is from my Creator, from God. I administer His money, so then I am letting them borrow, and I am no longer worried if He does not pay me. Actually, the debt, I'm going to have to draw this. The debt of the person, it is with God. Because the money is God's. God will charge him twice as much. And to me, He will give it to me as double. So then, I want you to understand that it's a rule. When I let someone borrow money and they don't give it to me, if I give it with a decree in this way saying, don't worry, God will give it back to me, that return of God is twice as much. And this guy will pay twice as much and upwards, depending on what it is, but it's always a lot more. Now, when I owe someone else, and I don't want to pay them, I want you to know, I want to pay that twice as much or more. And the person which I am not paying for, God gives him back to. It's not that He gives him the money back, but it gives him back in a different way, but the value will always be twice as much or more, because that is a rule. It is a rule. So then, it should not hurt in our heart when we lose something, or when they don't pay for something, or when they promise something and they don't give it to us, or when they don't give us something back, because the blessing, God is the one with the central bank. The same thing happens with tithes, the same thing happens with all things. They're spiritual laws that are always fulfilled. So then I explained that law someday. We'll go into depth with that law, with examples and all the rest. But when someone owes something to you and doesn't pay you, the one that will pay you is God. When I let someone borrow something, I don't let someone borrow it. I let God borrow it. Exactly. None of the same article comes, but it comes in a different way. Always. Always. Very well. So then your answer was that you have to work. You've acted in a very different way than what the Messiah would act. You have to act more intelligently. You don't have to go into businesses with people that you cannot trust. In order to enter into business, you have to have very clearly, very in paper, and very specifically with evidence that it's a very good business and that both of you are going to put this much money in the first month. You should have noticed that. This doesn't work with promises, but actually with acts. So then it cannot happen again. And the one that asked me, Juan, this cannot happen to you again. That they scam you. It can't happen to you again. Once, and you have to learn. Just like that, you have to learn. They present a different business, then everything should be from day one, everything clear. No, that later I'll pay for it. No, from day one, or else there's no business. That is what you have to learn to do, and not to trust in Yahweh. Trust in that you're doing things well. And in the moment that you did them wrong, the only one that is wrong is you. In trusting a person that was a scammer. So then, by the non-trustworthy person is you, because if I trust in you, and you trust in a scammer, actually, when I look outside, I will no longer trust you, because you did not know how to discern with a judgment where you were placing your money. And do you understand what I'm trying to say? If I have to invest in you, then no, I don't want to invest because this guy gets scammed, like all the time. Do you understand what I'm saying? So then don't say, I trust in the most eternal. No, start to trust and start to make wise decisions. Now, I've already said the name and all, but if you you can delete your question already. If you delete it, then the people will not know who it was. Very well. Another question. Another question. Let's see. This one. This is wisdom and discipline is everything that I've spoken to up until now. I don't need to read the book of Proverbs or Mishlei to give you wisdom and discipline, mind you. I want that to be clear. I could speak. I don't need to read the book of Proverbs and give you 100 or 200 sermons of discipline, whether we read Proverbs or not. This is not based in Proverbs. It is based in discipline and wisdom. I have given you wisdom and discipline. Now we adorn it by reading Proverbs, and like I've told you, we'll read other books. But wisdom and discipline is what we speak here, and it's precisely what I'm teaching, wisdom and discipline. I wanted to look at the time. It's 2 hours 40 already that I've been speaking. Last question. Hello, Cristian Silva. And all the lineage, many thanks for your instructions and discipline that you give us every Shabbat. What does it say here? My question is as follows. I have 2 sons, one is 3 years old, and another daughter that is 11, here where I live. They made me sign a document where I make myself responsible of my baby, there were 2 B's, of my babies, of any sickness. I don't know, I'm just reading the way they write. Of some sickness, to not, you already know, because of not marking them. I know they're going to call me in the commissionary or and I need you to help me to have a clear concept for what reason we do not accept the vacuum cleaners. Why don't we accept the arrows? I need to have a clear concept. Very well. Many thanks for your attention. Okay. The clear concept and detailed. I want you to hear this well. The one that asked me. The clear concept and detailed and slow that you're going to tell the cops, why you don't want to give the arrows to your children is because you don't want to. Just because you don't give, you don't want to. If you don't take them some information, it is no good because they give the signs. They have the information of why those vacuum cleaners are good for your children. That's going to prevent this and that. We don't have absolutely nothing that has any value, legal value, not even for them to want to read it, of why not. So then, the only reason, of course, how easy is to say, no, Christian gave me this, and this, oh, clear, signed, even by the very president of the U.S., that says why the vacuum cleaners are bad. No. Police calls and says, look, I don't want to give him that because I don't give a fuck. I don't want to. That's all. Look, you can fuck off to your mother's cunt. I mean, that's it. Just because I don't want to. If you say, oh, because I consider them to be bad, oh, you're gonna look ridiculous because there's toxins inside that is bad. They're gonna say, oh, what an idiot. Because I read, where did you read it? Or because some guy said it that speaks in the Shabbat. Where else? Because I saw some video. Where did you read it? In YouTube. I mean, it is for them to laugh at you and laugh at you. Where did they said that it was bad? In YouTube? Lady, please inform yourself. Here we have the Central Medic greatest studies, and you know what's going to happen. Then yes, then place them. It's because I don't want you. Just like that, I don't want it. It's like if I were to tell you, some guy. See how if I'm a woman, suppose I'm a woman, some guy comes, someone wants to have sex with me. So then someone were to ask me, so that if I were to ask somebody, give me a reason to not have sex with him. The same thing, because he wants to poke me with something. He has a syringe. I don't know very well. He wants to poke me. He wants to deposit a liquid, let's say, or if I'm a woman. So then I ask my pastor, can you give me a note where it says in the Torah that it's bad and where it says that it's a sin? That's why I present it to this guy. What's the pastor going to say? Tell the guy to fuck off to his mother's cunt. So then I tell you the same thing. I've always told doctors, look, fuck off. I tell them just like that my son and daughter will not get back. Oh, well, I said the word slept. No, the last time, many times, Angelina said, you don't know. They told me about Angelina. They said, just sign there. You could still say, sign the paper and give a fuck what you say. God was just like this. Doctor was like this, upset at me. Because I don't want to. I said, and people like you're, because of the pandemics and all that, he says, just sign it there. That is the reason. That is the reason. Exactly. Yes, exactly. No is no. It is no. Just like that. No. And the reason is no. I mean, there's nothing powerful than no. No. No, but it's no, period. No. Just like that. No. 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 You can say, it's a bit laughable, but you can say it. It is due to religious motives. But of course, what religion do we belong to? Tell me what your sect says or religion. It is no. Of course, it is my religion. What is yours? The one I believe in. My religion. My religion is for you to not penetrate me with anything, period. But you could die. I could give a fuck. You responsible for your children. Wow. If they respect that, that's it. The thing is to break your will. Right, but if you wanted for me to send that, hold on, I'll send you a whole information. Many people asked me. Exactly. The generation. Just tell them I'm afraid, I'll sue you, and that's it. You know how many of you, and I'm not going to embarrass you because I'm going to mention how many of you that listen to me during the pandemic, the pandemonium, wrote to me and you said, Christian, could you send me a paper saying that I belong to this church and that for that reason I can be exempt of, oh wow, I can't believe, I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe it. It's not the reason of belonging to any church. To start with, the fact that there's no church, to start with that. But there is no higher value than to say no. It is no. Under, before violation, if there was rape, the judgment they're going to say, did you say no or not? No, because I had a paper. No, of course. It is to break with no. The violation is to break the no, not to break a whole bunch of precepts. It's to break a no. If the girl said no, it is no. There's no other reason. It is no. It is no. If they say no because my head, no. It is no. It is no. And the no is no. Very well. Very good answer ours was, mind you. What should I tell the cops? It is no. That's it. Because of my balls. That's it. It is no. Number 3, let's see if there's time to read it. Yeah, I'll read it. 3. Hello, Christian. Blessings. I have a question. Oh, this one is complicated. See, for Leslie to answer it. At what age can you speak about sex to children and how to do so? My daughter doesn't go to church. I teach her to read and write, math, and everything necessary. But I don't know how to speak to her about the subject. At what age do you speak to children about sex? My answer is this. Since they are born. Well, not directly, you know what I'm saying, but what part of sex is everything is about? Everything is sex. To tell them, the mom and dad, that is sex. I'm sure he's talking about sexual relationships. Yes, she asked. You gotta teach the girl that nobody should touch her, right, when they're little, how to take care of herself. And about sexual relations, you talk to them at a certain age. When they started to ask, is when we told them. We want to give an age, starting from 4 years old, that they start to speak well. No, I mean, you have to sit them down to speak about what Leslie said. Look, if it's a girl, you tell her, you're a girl, okay? You're a girl. And the girl has, you speak to both of them. No, but if you have a girl, you speak to her alone. I'm giving them an example. If you have a boy or girl, you tell them, if somebody touches you, you tell them together. If they go over you, that is wrong. Yes, exactly. Since they're little, boy, girl, first thing is to teach them is that nobody should touch them. Not even their head. That is wrong. No, it's wrong. So then a friend or something, nobody to touch them, and for them to know that nobody should touch them. Second, in other words, for them to know how to differentiate what touches is to differentiate. Second of all, when the kids have some sort of questions, to answer them in the most intelligent way possible. That, of course, in that we're two genders, male and female, mom and dad. You know, girl and dad, because maybe there's no mom. And that between both of them, when you're older, you can get together until the babies are born, and those kind of things, you can go over them. But always educating with the necessary depth that I'm sure that they can handle. But I'm against the sexual teachings of the modern teachers to bombard them. No, absolutely wrong. To bombard them with images for no stranger to come and teach wrong. That is when in the schools they start to teach with images. That is nauseous. I don't know how this generation. Wow, this last one, if the one of the crystal one, Gen Z, is disaster. They could care less, and you ruin them. In other words, they cannot be developed in the way natural way per se. Everything has to be natural, just like that. Everything has to be natural. As soon as they start to ask, then you can answer them and tell them the truth. Because then there are people, some parents, and many with Latin Americans, that the parents, they don't want to tell them the truth. So then the kids, what do? They go and look online or with friends. And now with online, exactly. So it's better for the parents to tell them. They're going to see it. They're going to see it whether you want to or not. Because now, internet is not like back in my days. When I was brought up, there were no computers, there was no phone, nothing. So then, access to porn, it was literally impossible, except maybe if you were to find some magazine or something like that, or else it was impossible. Now, it is more than possible. The kids and their cell phones, they have access to all that, and all of a sudden, if you don't, or they don't have enough education, then they'll look it up on their own. Is what Leslie is saying. Those that look it up will find it someday. Exactly. I advise each and every one of you for it to be natural, to not force it. And that, give or take, you can give them the points that there are two genders, male and female, and the baby boy is something, baby girl is something else, and you have to keep them separate until they get married, give or take, so that the brain starts to grow in that, since you are the teacher, and to explain to them that we do not allow for anyone to touch us, touch our body, or all the rest, unless it's a hug, or that is hands, shaking hands, but no caresses or anything else. To always be paying attention, because there are people that want to caress us. It's fundamental for you to teach. It's fundamental. Always that it would seem that with a smile, but they leave their hand there for way too long. It shouldn't happen. Boys should not receive the touch from an adult. It's just shaking their hand and that's it. No one else. They should never sit on their legs, because some old guys, they sit the girls on their legs. We've seen that all the time. That should not allow that. You have to tell the child that that is wrong, and for them to not allow it, it's wrong for them to not allow it. I was brought up when I was younger for many years in Uruguay, and there was a whole lot more homosexuals in Uruguay than in Argentina. So then it was very clear that they taught us, all of us, well, my father and the kids in the church, to not allow themselves to be touched by anyone under any circumstances. It was already, since there was a problem in Uruguay, a lot more than in Argentina, and I'm not saying that all Uruguayans are like that. No, in Uruguay there was a problem that was marked in homosexuality back in that time. I lived in Uruguay from the year 75th to the year 79, January of 80, back in that time. That whole time in Argentina, the Uruguayans, back in that time is when I lived. And there was lots of rape going on. It was so much of rape, of gay rapes, that even the Adventist parents would take their kids with prostitutes so that they would like women. And it turns out that if a little boy, what you can do is for them to hate the women. You're forcing them. Exactly, it's nothing natural, but in his desperation for them to not become gay, they would take them that already they would like women. Very bad remedy for that. But my dad established in the churches, and the male boys, teach them that Yeshua taught like this, that no man, whether it's an uncle or it's another pastor, or for them to be somebody that works at the church, they could not touch you. I would give them the hand if I wanted to, and if they would hold my hand a little longer, I would kick them. That's the way I was. I was so like that, and they would go and complain. Some guy that touched my head, I kicked him in church. I kicked him and I spit his face. And I didn't strike him just because there was no time. Because he let me go, or else I would strike his head, his face, and he was somebody, he was an elder at the church. He says, Pastor, I was just saying hello to your son, and he kicked me and spit on me. My dad said, he called me. Why did you spit on him? He says, because he touched my head. So my dad said, well, you have to know that you should not touch my son like that. Don't even touch him again. And that's it. It's over. If you don't like that, then fuck off. He didn't say that, but I would have said that. Don't touch my son in his head, because next time I'll break your face. I'll kick your face in. Not just strike you like that, but break your face in. That's the way I was brought up. Parents, do not allow for your children to be touched by anyone, whether it's the uncles or the grandparents or whomever. Do not allow them to be touched. That is very important, because the greatest violation and abuse comes from the family, this group of starving slaves. That is where the greatest one comes. And what it is in Latin America, wow, I mean, the uncles, people that came to this group, that came from Los Angeles, would confess to me, oh, I didn't want to listen. I raped my son. I didn't want to say that. I mean, swallow this guy's whole. And step parents, because the parents didn't teach them for them to not be touched by anyone. But the children are mine, and no one will touch them. Just like that, no one. Like also, I would not allow my children to be taken by the aunts. It could be my sisters, if I had brothers or sisters, or Leslie's brothers and sisters, to give those kids, because the aunt says, can you give them the kid? I'll take him to the park. I won't give it to him. How can an aunt or an uncle dare to say, those are my nephews? Never, never. I mean, they're your nephews. They're my children. I hate it. These dog shit Latin Americans, they start to say they're my nephews. No, 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 they're not your nephews. They're my children. They're my grandchildren. I'll take them with their grandmother. You know where that grandmother's going to end up? With a kick. They're my grandchildren. They're my nephews. My ass. They are not your nephews. They are not your grandchildren. They're my children. And they could say, but they're not. No, there's nothing of yours. I don't accept it. It's not yours. It's mine. Just like that. It's mine. It cannot be my children, your nephews. No, it's mine. That's it. It's over. They have to have that concept of property when they grow up, like Brian or Angelina. Already, I've taught them already. Some guy comes here. Some guy. What happened last time that some guy came? The guy from Mexico and touched Angelina's stomach. What did Angelina do? Start to yell. So embarrassing. Some kid from Mexico came and touched her stomach. Don't say the name. Touched her stomach. And something Angelina had not seen in her life. Of course. It was. She started yelling. It was a Shabbat here. Everyone started yelling, but why? Because we do not accept that sort of game. Exactly. We had taught them already since they were little for not to be touched. Nobody could touch their stomach or nothing. But for them to touch your stomach, oh no, absolutely not. So then Angelina expressed her disapproval. Told the mom, the kid ended up crying. He was shocked. Yeah, he was shocked. We had to tell him, well, we taught her to answer that way. Go touch my chihuahua, let's see if you can, but I haven't taught that one. I haven't taught that one. If you can, I haven't taught her anything. I didn't teach her anything. But that it came out. It was osmosis, I don't know. So then, very well, I believe that is all. I've read all the questions and I've spoken to you for 3 hours. It's enough. Chokhmah and Musar. Last text that I'll read, which I love to read, which is this one, reads as follows. Psalms 78:2. And I'll read in the Jerusalem 2001.
Escucha, pueblo mío, mi
Hear, my
enseñanza.
people, my teaching.
Presta oído
Pay
a las palabras
heed
de mi boca.
to the words of my
Voy a
mouth.
abrir mi boca en
I will
palabras,
open my mouth in
evocar
parables
los misterios
and
del
evoke the mysteries of the
Y voy a
past.
leer un texto más
And I'll read another text
de Proverbios, ya que estamos estudiando
of Proverbs, since we're studying
y no estudiamos hoy, no
Mishle,
leímos nada.
and we didn't study
Pero
anything,
que
we
no
didn't read
corresponde
anything.
ni al tema
But
de
it does
hoy.
not even correspond, not even with today's
avanzando.
subject. We're
Proverbios
advancing already.
capítulo 2,
Proverbs chapter 2.
Proverbios capítulo 2
Proverbs chapter 2.
tiene algo muy interesante.
It's
que
got
poca
something
gente
very
nota,
interesting
o
that
poca gente
very few people notice,
comprende.
or very few
Proverbios
people
2,
comprehend.
1.
Proverbs 2
Hijo
1
mío,
says, My
si
son,
recibieres mis palabras,
if you were to
y
receive my
mis
words and my
ciertos.
commandments,
Dice mandamientos, pero obviamente
it says
no,
commandments.
positivo no cuenta.
In Spanish, the
Y
word
manda
commandments with the ments means lie, so then we say command truths,
Hasta ahí voy a leer.
and would keep them within thee.
¿A qué
I'll read just till there.
mandaciertos se refiere?
What commandments is it referring to?
¿Se refiere a los mandaciertos de
Is
la
it referring
Torá?
to the commandments of the Torah?
Absolutamente no.
Absolutely not.
Muchos cristianos y aún
Many
adventistas
Christians and
creen que
even
este
Adventists
texto
think that this
está
text,
hablando de los
that this
mandamientos y
text
aún de los 10
is talking
mandamientos,
about the
sí,
commandments
mejor
and
del
even of the
sábado.
10 Commandments, and even more
es
if
así.
it's of the Sabbath, and it isn't so.
Está hablando
It's
Jochma,
talking about
la sabiduría.
Chokhmah is speaking
Y que le
wisdom,
dice a todos los que quieren
and it's telling
escuchar,
everyone,
dice,
all
"Hijo
that
mío,
would listen, is telling them, my
si
son,
recibieres mis
if you were to receive my words,
Las palabras son los consejos suaves.
the words are the soft
consejos amigables,
advices,
que
the
no son un mandamiento, por así
advices that are
decirlo,
friendly,
mandacierto.
which are not a commandment
No
per
es una ley,
se,
pero es un
commandment.
consejo
It's not a
que si lo
law,
sigues te
but
va a ir
it's
mejor.
an advice that if you follow,
Jochma no
you'll
enseña
do better in
solamente
life.
con buenos
But Chokhmah
consejos,
does not
enseña
only
leyes.
teach good advices, it also teaches
Y eso
laws.
quiero que presten atención a este texto, que ya
That is
lo
what I
vamos a
want you to pay attention
Hijo
to
mío,
in this text that we'll
si
study. My son,
recibieres mis palabras,
if you were to
esos son los
receive my
consejos
words,
suaves
those
y
are
que te
the
pueden
soft
ayudar
advices,
grandemente,
and
pero
that
no
can
son
help
leyes.
you greatly, but they're not laws.
Y mis
And
mandamientos, mis
my
leyes, dice
commandments, my laws. It says my mitzvot.
Dice la palabra,
My mitzvot is
en
the
hebreo
word.
significa
In
mis
Hebrew, it means
mandamientos.
my commandments,
Guardar es dentro de ti.
to keep them within
Miren
you.
como dice la Jerusalén 2001.
Look at it says in the Jerusalem 2001.
Si
My son,
aceptas mis palabras y
if you
retienes
accept
mis
my
mandatos,
words and you
retienes
retain my
mis
commandments,
mandatos.
you retain my commandments.
Jochma
Notice,
no solamente
Chokhmah
te dice
does not only tell
buenos
you
consejos, sino te dice
about good
leyes.
advice,
Y las
but it talks
leyes,
about laws, and the
habla
laws,
con tu perro, la tenés que
speaking
cumplir
about my
las leyes.
dog, you have to follow them.
fulfill
So then when it talks about
Entonces, cuando
wisdom,
habla de sabiduría,
it doesn't
no
just tell you
solamente te dice
sweet
palabras
words
dulces
and good
y
advice,
palabras
but
y
it
buenos
tells you
consejos,
laws.
sino te dice
And those
leyes.
laws,
Y esas
if you
leyes,
follow them,
si tú las cumples,
number 4 says,
el 4 dice,
is if
si como
as
a la plata
to you were to look for it as
la
if it were
buscares,
silver and search it
y la
like a treasure,
escudriñares como a tesoro,
then,
entonces,
number 5, as a result,
como resultado,
then
entonces
shall ye understand the fear of Yahweh
el temor de Yahweh
and find
y
the
hallarás
knowledge of God.
el conocimiento de Dios.
The only way
La
of
única
understanding
forma
the fear of
de
Yahweh
entender el temor de
and to
Yahweh
find the true
y hallar
knowledge
el
of Elohim
conocimiento de Elohim
is by listening
es
to wisdom
escuchando a la sabiduría
that has advice
que tiene
and it has
consejos,
commandments,
tiene mandatos.
laws, and those laws,
Y
you have to
esas
respect them
leyes
and do them,
hay que respetarlas y hacerlas.
because if it isn't
Porque
so,
si no es
then
así,
you'll
entonces
never understand
nunca
the fear
vas
of
a
Yahweh,
entender el temor
nor
de
will
Yahweh,
you find
ni vas a
the
hallar
knowledge of
el
Elohim.
conocimiento de Elohim.
And that is what we shall study
Y
next
eso lo vamos
Shabbat.
a estudiar el Shabbat que viene.
Without any further ado, let
Sin
us
más,
wrap it
vamos
up
a terminar
with today's session
la
of this
sesión de
School
hoy
of the
de esta
Mashiach
escuela
with a
del
word of prayer.
Mashiach con una oración.
Our Father,
te damos
we give you
gracias
thanks
por
for
este
this so
precioso
precious day of
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Te
We
damos
give you
gracias
thanks
porque
because you
nos
have
has
given
dado
us
un
a
año
new year.
nuevo. Te
We
damos
give you
gracias
thanks
porque hemos
because
pasado
we
el
have
año del
passed
jubileo
the year of the Jubilee, and we
sabemos
now
ahora
know
de
that
tú nos
you have
entregaste
given
el
us the
título de
title of
propiedad,
property,
que la
and the
propiedad
property is ours
porque
because we have
cumplimos
fulfilled
los
the
1260
1260
días de
days of purification
purificación
of
del
the sanctuary.
santuario y hicimos
We've
un
done
juicio.
judgment,
Y
and
porque
because we have
pasamos
gone
los
past the
1290
1290 days of abomination that maketh desolate,
y porque
and because
al
at the
final
end
de los
of the 1335
1335
days, we
recibimos
received
una
a
piedra
white
blanca
stone
con un nombre muy
with a
especial.
very special name,
Y
and
también
also
el maná
the hidden
escondido.
manna.
Te pido
I ask
que
you that
este
this
año sea
year
un año muy
be
especial.
a very good year,
Que
that
este
this
año
year
sea
be the
el
month
mes
of
de abrir
Aviv,
algo
something
muy
very
especial
special,
para nosotros.
because
Porque todo lo
we've
hemos
fulfilled
cumplido.
everything.
Todo
We
lo
have
hemos
understood
entendido.
everything,
Y
and we are
estamos
waiting for
esperando.
you,
Estamos
We are waiting
esperando que se nos dé
for
la
us to be
propiedad
given the promised
prometida.
property,
Que el
and
Hijo del
for
Hombre
the Son of
reciba
Man to
la
receive
tierra como
the
herencia.
land
Y no hay
as
mejor mes
inheritance,
que el
and
mes
there's
de
no
Aviv para
better
nosotros.
month other than the month of Aviv. I thank you for all this. Thank you for giving us wisdom in your precious name,
El nombre
the
de
name
nuestro
of our
único
only
Elohim,
Elohim,
Yahweh
YHWH Sabaoth.
Sebaot.
Hallelujah.
Aleluya.
Semper Fi. Crowned
Coronados
with
de
glory,
gloria,
let us live.
vivamos, sean
Let
eternos
the
los
laurels be
laureles
eternal
que
that we
supimos
knew had to achieve.
conseguir.
Crowned with glory,
Coronados
let
de
us live.
gloria, vivamos,
Long
viva
live the
el
Mashiach
Mashiach
that
que
is
está
waiting
esperando
to
recibir su
receive
propiedad
his
toda la
inheritance
tierra.
of all the earth. And speaking about my dog, she wanted to be a protagonist. It's very, very long, very long. Semper Fi to each and every one of you. Many blessings. May the Lord bless you. And get prepared. Quiet. To enjoy and celebrate a very special Pesach. Just like that. Place that in your mind. This new year, we've gone past the Jubilee, and let us receive, we shall receive and practice, and we shall experience a very special Pesach, because actually it is a very special year. So then place that in your mind and start to get prepared, make it beautiful for Pesach. We took out everything that is leaven, not because it's a sin to eat it, we take it out, or we put it in a bag, we just take it outside of our sight, and we are prepared to make matzah, to make delicious things with matzah, and to enjoy this feast. These could be very special feasts. And here is my dog. My dog, come touch her if you can. Come get near if you can. It was like Christian, when he was little, someone would get together, would get close. I was just ask Minto. Here is my little beautiful dog. She loves me. She loves it. She's a lion. She may seem to be sweet. She's a hidden lion. Doesn't have the power of a lion because poor thing, nobody would be left. Hallelujah to every one of you. And also, long live the bride and groom, because we got married 10 years ago. All the couples. Yay! Oh, yeah. She gets a good high five, high five. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you're so tiny. Well, hallelujah to every one of you.